Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It's been a while, Brian, since we've sat down here and talked some professional wrestling. Full disclosure, a lot of crazy things have been happening. We did not forget about you. We did not stop making content. There has been
content.
Yeah, there's been personal things going on. I don't think we've recorded since you've had your loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just kind of real quick. Brian, he lost his pup, so that was the one Thursday we were going to record. Brian, full disclosure, Brian was still on board. He wanted to do it, and I said, "No, man, let's take the week. Let's just take the day." And then we were going to record on a Friday, and I was like, "Nah, let's just wait. We'll come back next week." And the next week was the week that we went to Pilgaroo, and then the week after that, it was like I messaged Brian and I said, "Brian, do we record tonight and wing it because we don't have anything prepped?" I'm sure you can wing something out and just tell us wrestling stories and your vast knowledge in your brain, or do we go drink at Pilgaroo? And we landed on drinking at Pilgaroo. So it was wrestling related, but it just wasn't on camera.
I bought a TV and I had to move a lot of furniture around and then have my setup hooked up. I'm like, let's just go have some beers.
Yeah. So this is the beginning of something a little new. So we have been doing the pro wrestling content, and it's like we said, it's tornado tag adjacent. It's a little bit of what we were doing, but more of a little different and starting new things. And I have been opening the doors for some people if they want to come in and join us. And tonight, BP, that has happened. We are joined. We are joined. We have some friends joining us tonight.
Ooh,
and it's
where?
Gonna be a lot of fun. So I'll bring in the first person. He's been a member of the tornado stuff for a while. The tornado. I like how we're saying like we're gonna
get tornado stuff.
Yeah, the tornado stuff. So let's bring in. He's no longer his actual name. He's changed it. He's now Precious.
That's what that P stands for.
There he is
on his shirt.
I thought it was for
this P is also foreshadowing to our other guest.
Yes.
And our other guest is Philly Mikey Delphia.
Oh yes, there he is. Hello, what's up, everybody?
So what a cast tonight, BP. We are joined.
This looks like an awful game of Hollywood Squares right now.
Yeah.
Awful.
Northeast Indie Wrestling Hollywood Squares. Basically.
This side of the screen is Team Luxurious Hair.
Yeah.
And that side is clean cut.
We lined it up
on that side.
They didn't know the main event was a tag match tonight.
Well, I suck at wrestling and you have one leg, so I don't know how this is gonna work out.
It doesn't matter, bro. You can have a main event without doing any wrestling moves.
Mike will bite a neck if he has to. We'll be fine.
Exactly.
So yes, Mike has just recently been on the ABJ podcast as well as Precious.
Yes.
Mike, still going through some stuff, and I was like, man, what a way to make Philly Mike still in the scene and have some fun. Because listen, if you want to talk wrestling, with anybody, these are the four people in the room that I enjoy talking to wrestling with the most. To be honest, Brian is a book of knowledge. Precious has a grasp of wrestling that is a lot different because his age differences for us, and he comes from a very, very big wrestling family. And Philly Mike is just the most brutal, honest wrestling fan that you'll ever meet, but also has a lot of cool stories because he's in the business as well as now Precious. We have generations of people who have worked in here as well as different time spots of when they watch wrestling and all have different takes. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So we'll have some fun here.
For this show, I was in college when this show happened, and I think Austin was a baby. Or Precious was a baby.
Yeah, I was not watching at this point in time in wrestling.
Oh,
I had to come back to it. Yeah,
of course.
This almost got me back into it because it was the second run of my favorite wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
Hey, come on
of course, Tony flashes a comment that's a dig at Darby Allin.
Yeah.
He would have thrived in the OG.
Heidi's
look,
saying hi.
Heidi's in the stream.
Hello.
All right, now fuck off.
Stream, everybody.
Get out of here.
Just like she's there, she's gone.
Yeah, Hard and Soft Wrestling Podcast hanging out with us tonight. Thank you guys, appreciate you. Listen, we'll have you guys on sometime too to come and hang out and hang out. My guys, I want to say something real quick too. We have someone in the chat. Is my new favorite person. This guy's really turned a new leaf for me. I think he should be a world champion. I don't care what anyone else tells me. He is the best wrestler I've ever seen in my life. He's the most handsome, most athletic, the greatest talker. Everything. If you have if he was an RPG character, everything's 11, and that's my fucking boy Crispy.
Crispy.
Look at who's coming around on the Honor Society.
So Crispy's
he is the ace student. You know what I mean? That is
he's taking it to ace. Wow.
That's a direct shot at one Vince Torres. Right there.
Yeah. No, so here's the thing. I've been very hard on Crispy. And I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit. He's a really cool kid. He's a good guy. He's working his ass off in this business, trying this thing. And I'm a little hard up on commentary, but we have a Discord. Just hit 100 members. It's a great place to hang out and talk wrestling. Don't be shy if you're like, man, I don't really know how Discord works or how things are going. We have a great community in there. They'll walk you through it. They'll help you the best they can. But Crispy joined the Discord and really revamped it for me. Like, he knows how to really work that. And not only was it just a really fun place and had good content and we were doing fun things, but he made it look more professional. And now it kind of like self-runs and there's cool things that happen when I go live. It tells the Discord. Like, he really revamped it. So huge thank you to that guy for helping me get better in my journey and making my content outside of just being live on the camera much better. So thank you. Huge thanks to Crispy, who's also a moderator in the Discord, as well as not on YouTube, but I'm doing that as we speak because I realize that his name doesn't have a little thing by it. So we're going to fix that as we speak as well.
Crispy's shaping up for a very great season, a very crisp season at the Sanctuary.
Season 13 at the Sanctuary. Coming up. Unlucky
crispy.
13.
Feeling
I can't wait. It's coming up quick. March 1st Friday.
March they're doing the like almost like a casting call, but I think if I'm not mistaken, they did release they're going to start off the season like they did season 12 with the Sanctuary Stampede. I know it's going to be in April. I'm trying to find the exact date.
He did put it. They put it out tonight at some point. I forget where. It was subtle. Here it is.
Yeah. There it is.
It's going to be a crispy season, though. I've never been more excited to sit back and just watch the season unfold.
Yeah.
April 23rd, Sunday, April 23rd, the Sanctuary Stampede.
Okay.
The best, and you listen, if you're local, come hang out live. We want to pack that fucking place out. We want that to be the spot to
be.
Tickets are insanely cheap, so affordable. But even if you're not, and you can't be there live, the beautiful thing about the Sanctuary, it's live on YouTube. It's live on Facebook. And we are bringing something new to this. We tried a little bit towards the end of the season, but we're really going to lean into it with this season. We are going to be the first commentary team that you listen to that is actually interactive with the live stream chat. So you can talk shit during the match and say how you feel about the wrestler or give your feedback or who you think's going to win. And we will put you over on commentary as a live chat. I don't think there's any wrestling company doing it. And we tested our toes in the water a little bit. And Trotsky seemed to like it because it makes people who are not there seem like, it gives them a reason to watch and not, you know what I mean? Like, so we're going to try it. We're going to be a little more interactive when it comes to
they're going to yell at it. You guys in the match are going to be like, nobody came tonight, but the YouTube comments hate you right now. So just imagine, boo. Like,
the Sanctuary's whole future is about a more immersive experience, and they're testing the waters in every way possible to do that.
And if there's anywhere where you can innovate and really work on your craft and really make art out of wrestling, it's the Sanctuary.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we jump into the show tonight, the little banter in the beginning is good. How has everybody been for the most part? We just kind of came off a really cool moment in professional wrestling for me, anywhere, for all of us. I know I'm just kind of speaking for everybody, but high ground, man. A lot of people put up and talk shit and say, hey, we should support people when they're down and help our local friends. But this show put the action to words. High Tension and Smashmaster got together for a benefit show for Mike here and Adina Steele. And,
High ground pro wrestling. High Tension.
My bad.
But they're affiliated with Smashmaster. So the High Tension champion was there, Mike Skyros.
Yeah, so it was a collective effort. Sanctuary, there were Sanctuary people there. There were a little bit everybody part of the Northeast scene, former backbreaker. It was a collective effort. Everyone forego their pay. Everyone said they're coming for the right reasons, and raised. Was it close? It was like $750 each for you and Adina.
Like $777. It was each. Yeah. And that I was shocked. Like when he said, I thought
it was total, and you guys were split, and they're like, no, that was each. And I was like,
when
shit.
I was surprised by the turnout. It was a great turnout, and And once I seen the crowd, I was like, all right, so we'll be getting good. We'll be getting a good amount of money. But hearing over 700 just blew me away. That shocked me. I thought when he said it, I was like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. Like that's the amount split between us. And then he says each. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And then the person who won the 50-50 of like another $250 donated the 50-50 back and essentially gave their $250 away back to the talent. So that was even more money that was split between you and Adina.
Yeah, that was cool. Like she walked up and got it. She's like, no, I just donated back into it was her thing was donating it back into High Ground. And Molson came out, he's running it, he says, hey, we promised that all proceeds tonight, no matter where they came from, we're going to me and Adina. So they split that up real quick and gave us the rest of that money right afterwards.
So that's super cool, man. It was really cool to see that.
Promoters saying something and delivering. What's this world coming to?
Dude, blew me away, man. I couldn't believe it.
But it was a great show. We want to thank everyone who participated that night, who showed up, who supported.
Fun time.
Even if you cannot,
I had a lot of fun.
It's not over. If you still want to support and do your part, the links are below for Mike and Adina. They have other ways that you can support them and hang out and do some cool stuff. Like I said, you're going to see Mike on here a lot going forward. So he'll be talking some wrestling with us. So we'll keep jamming that down your throat you can support this guy, because he is he's for how much we know, for when it comes to how much he would want to be between those ropes and still doing what he's doing. The guy literally wrestled on that hurt knee for 4 years because he didn't want to stop. So the fact that he's trying to better himself, get healthy, fix it, and then come back stronger, we're all here for it, and we can't wait for it to happen.
Yes, sir.
So anything else going on you guys want to talk about? Anything new?
Hey, I got nothing going on, man.
I can't breathe through my nose at the moment, so I'm just sitting here like watching myself breathe through my mouth. Throwing me off a little bit. I'm sorry.
It's not a sore throat, man. Everybody's been getting hit with the sickness.
Please, God, stay away. I have to go to wrestling shows the next 2 weeks, and we all know how they're like human petri dishes.
Oh yeah. It's not a local thing, but I think we do kind of have to mention the passing of Jerry Jarrett. Such an instrumental part of professional wrestling. Such an innovator.
Since recording, we lost Briscoe.
Jay Briscoe,
Jay Briscoe, Jerry Jarrett, and then Jerry Lawler took a stroke, but he seems to be bouncing back.
He's doing okay, but him and Jerry Jarrett were partners for a long time. Memphis was the last of the surviving territories. If you remember that Tales of the Territories, the first one was Memphis, and Jerry Jarrett, he could hold his own too. He took out a guy's eye once. He was the real deal, and
they were putting over Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett wrestled last night on AEW, and they were like, "Yeah, Jerry Jarrett just died," and Jeff, being the pro he is, was like, "Nah, I'm here. Let's do it."
Listen, Jeff Jarrett is the king of Carney.
No. He learned it from Jerry.
He learned it from Jerry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, there's never a time where I don't care how much you dislike the guy because he's a great heel or maybe some of the things he's done in the business. But when it comes to a wrestling mind and when it comes to what can be done between those ropes, Jeff Jarrett's a goat, man. He's good.
And
this year
Jerry was right there with him.
Yes, since joining AEW, honestly, he's been proving it like big time. Like he showed up, everybody was like, "Here we go." But every week, more and more, he's just proven like why he's like Jericho.
He's entertaining.
He's honestly like Jericho in AEW. He's not doing anything to take away from. He's putting people over left and right. Like it's entertaining.
Dare I say, I would rather probably right now Jeff over Jericho on TV, because we've had so much Jericho. Like, Jeff's he's like a bright spot on TV.
They're definitely getting to the point where they're like, "Fuck, what are you doing with Jericho?"
Yeah,
dude. But could you imagine they just build to Jarrett versus Jericho?
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be
that's
at
the match
this point in
want
their
to see.
careers would be entertaining as fuck.
Yes.
They would put a good match on.
Jericho Appreciation Society at this point, and
Yo.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And the perfect, and you can already you can set it up so perfectly. You just have to have Jarrett hit Jake Hager right in that hat with the guitar, and you have your feud built.
Yeah, it could happen anywhere.
Yeah. He goes right, the guitar goes right through, but the hat just stays.
Probably be better for him. You know, cut him off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
Jerry, but Jerry,
Speaking of Jericho, on my screen, he just did a lion salt onto Kane, and Kane was 3/4 away across the ring.
Yo,
Jericho could go.
I've taken a guitar shot before from Tarzan Duran of all people, of course, because why not?
Guitar.
In this match, his name was Killer Deathwish, though. It was a triple threat with Draven Blaze.
Did they take the strings off when they hit it?
No, it was nothing was gimmicked about it at all. Like that day I found out there was no gimmicking like the guitar shot. And people it makes sense. How can you really? Like, I don't know.
I would at least hopefully take the strings off it.
But he just said
loosen the strings.
Like he just said like tense up, fucking get ready. Like, and it sucked.
Oh,
bro. It left like cuts on my face here and there and shit. But that shit sucked. But it was awesome at the same time.
I would can you loosen those strings so when the fretboard breaks, at least the strings go with the fretboard? Because a fucking fully tuned tight string guitar and the fucking strings is probably the worst part.
Dude, me being like the sick fuck kind of wrestler I am, like that's a bucket list thing. I was like, I gotta take a guitar shot at some point. And we were playing.
Did you take it strings first or back first?
No, it was just the back first, the base of the guitar, boom, just and then right on the fucking head. And because he was like, we're playing in the match, and Tarzan, he's just like he's playing it or whatever. I was like, you like want to work that into the match? He's like, what you want to like take the guitar shot? I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, if you want to break the guitar, he's like, yeah, I got plenty. I was like, fuck yeah. And
fucking $600, $700 guitar.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. I loved it.
Nuts. All right, well, let's get into this pay-per-view. Brian, walk us through the beginning and some of the cool little fun facts of Survivor Series 2002.
So we're only about 6 months into the first ever roster split, brand extension as they called it. So the Invasion angle ended the Survivor Series before this in 2001, and then we've had everything coming in for WrestleMania as far as Triple H with his big comeback, and then right after WrestleMania, they split it up, and it's Vince McMahon's SmackDown and Ric Flair's Raw. And then they wind up having Ric Flair become an active wrestler again, and that's when we had the GM. So at this point, your general manager of Raw is Eric Bischoff with the big comeback. Your general manager of SmackDown is Stephanie McMahon. And one of the cool things they did at this point is this was at the point in the roster split where they had separate writing teams too. So the Raw side, the head writer is Brian Gewirtz, who was their head writer before when it was all one thing. And he was very much into the comedy stuff. He worked very closely with The Rock when The Rock was there. Still works for The Rock to this day, works for The Rock's production company. And on SmackDown, running things on SmackDown is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is in creative control of SmackDown at this point and is really putting out, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of people, was putting out a superior product. We'll talk later about the SmackDown 6. But early on, at this point, SmackDown's roster is just head and shoulders above. And even earlier, it was even more so, was head and shoulders above Raw's, because Raw was supposed to kind of be built around Steve Austin. Steve Austin is gone at this point. This is when he was having some creative differences with the company. They wanted to lose to Brock Lesnar on Raw with no build. He just went home a few months before this. And so they had to shuffle some things around. They brought Jericho back from SmackDown to Raw. They brought the Un-Americans, which was Christian, Edge, and Test, to Raw. And they balanced out a little bit. So that's where we're kind of at this point. A lot of tag teams have been broken up. The Hardy Boys have been broken up. The Dudley Boys have been broken up. And we have separate tag titles now. You have the WWE tag team titles on SmackDown. The Raw tag team titles are not defended here. I don't even know who the champions are. They may have been 3-minute warning. But yeah, that's kind of setting the table for where we're at here.
Yeah, and now they announced that they're going to build this new structure, and it's going to be debuted in this match, and it's the brainchild of Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, that's how they build it, and they kind of build it as a combination of Hell in a Cell with elements of War Games, was how they advertise the Elimination Chamber, and Survivor Series because it's elimination. That's one of the odd things. There's not that traditional Survivor Series match here. The closest thing you get is the opener, which is an Elimination Tables match.
Yeah, it's been something now. It was debuted on Survivor Series. It's been around every year since its creation, and now it has its own pay-per-view.
Well,
How
it
do
did.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
How
sorry,
do
go
you
ahead.
feel about this match style, this match type? Where does it rank for you as a match type you look forward to seeing every year?
It's pretty fun. The one after this was pretty. There were a few bad ones early on. This one was good. I thought the one after this was at SummerSlam the next year, and it was pretty bad. It was like Kevin Nash and Goldberg and Triple H. That one was pretty bad. And Triple H is wearing like his biker shorts, and Goldberg slipped coming out to the ring. I think the one after that would have been. I think they didn't do it for a little while. The one where Cena wins, but then Edge cashes in the first Money in the Bank. That was in like 06. Then you had the Extreme Elimination Chamber in one of the worst pay-per-views of all time, December to Dismember. And then it just became part of No Way Out, which was the February show. Where, yeah, I mean, the Elimination Chamber is fun. It's a spectacle. It's kind of gotten formulaic, I think, to a degree now. And they don't do a lot of the high-risk things anymore, which is fine. Like
It's different done. Yeah, it's hard to keep topping it.
the grading is padded now and stuff. Yeah, but it's
That's
fun.
my big issue. Like when they moved it to February, that's when it became the big issue for me because I love the match concept. I love the matches. Honestly, it all depends on who you put in it when it comes down to it. But it always bothered me that it was on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't like that's my only placement issue I have right now with it.
Like if it was anywhere else in the year, it'd be fucking sick.
What's the problem with it?
The fact that it's like big Royal Rumble moment, and then it's like, oh, we have the Elimination Chamber, and then wrestle. Like it makes it feel less, and it I don't know. First of all, you're putting like major risk of injury multiple of your wrestlers when they used to go hard as fuck. But like you said, now it's
and they don't go as hard in the chamber where it makes it not as good is because they are on the road to WrestleMania.
And that's the thing. And that's where it messes it up in the last few years because you can tell that it's super padded and they're like, play it safe. You don't want to hurt yourself. Like,
yeah, but Austin Theory took that crazy F5 off the top of it.
That's exactly because that's him. Like he's like, let's do that. But
and your whole Mania thing is like, well, your winner of the winner of this gets a title shot at Mania, but then also someone can sneak in an Elimination Chamber and get a Mania opportunity as well.
I think that incentivizes the road to WrestleMania. I think that tries to tell a story of how difficult it really is each year to make it to Mania.
Like I
would put Survivor Series. This is just how I would fantasy book this. I would move Survivor Series to the road to WrestleMania, and then you can build up more matches where people don't touch each other because
you can't move Survivor Series out of it's a November institution.
I was about
something
to say,
that
the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view should have never became a thing.
Agreed.
They killed the Hell in a Cell the moment that happened.
They got me to buy it as a kid, like the actual playset of it.
The Elimination Chamber pay-per-view should have been the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, like in that placement of October, wherever they wanted to put it.
If you're buying it hard and soft, we'll do it.
That February pay-per-view is supposed to be a throwaway filler pay-per-view.
I would move Chamber before SummerSlam and have like almost like a Rumble style pay-per-view where the implications of the Elimination Chamber gets you to the big show of SummerSlam. Then you have a big pay-per-view where the winner gets you the road to SummerSlam, and then you build SummerSlam up to be another big spectacle, and then you do the same thing with Rumble leading into.
That's the point
Mania.
with the Big Four, to build to the next one at each time. Like that, as dumb as concept it was. I loved Fastlane. Fastlane was perfect for that filler pay-per-view. It was like, oh, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Let's Fastlane. Let's quicken it up. Here we go. Like it just made sense. But the Elimination Chamber throws it all for me.
I'm with Mike just in so much as I think you already have Money in the Bank before SummerSlam, and that's good. Have Elimination Chamber in October, replace Hell in a Cell before Survivor Series, and maybe the winner gets a shot at Survivor Series, or do it in December. And maybe the winner gets number 30 in the Royal Rumble or something like that.
Money in the Bank, another one, never should have got its own pay-per-view. It should have remained a novelty match at a big, like, not even if it wasn't WrestleMania, like SummerSlam. SummerSlam doesn't have that one match. It's like it's just the summer extravaganza. It doesn't have that one. You got the Survivor Series match. You got the Royal Rumble. you got the Mania Undertaker matches, the marquee matches that we were expected of every year.
Well, how did we get a Money in the Bank match in the first place? What was the story that created those 6 guys?
Was it
Chris
Mania? They had a match at
Chris
Mania.
Jericho, yeah. Jericho
Jericho-
invented it in storyline. Yep.
Yeah, Jericho just pitched it to Bischoff, and it was random, and people didn't understand the process of it, and then like once it unfolded, they were like, "Holy shit, that was awesome!" It's
So,
just,
I think the fact that it was just random. I didn't remember it in storyline that he was the one who created it.
he
I
might have
think-
really pitched it too, for all we know. Shit.
Yeah, that's what I was familiar with. But I think the fact that it was random doesn't mean it should incentivize it being consistently at Money in the Bank. Like, you can't logically book a Money in the Bank. Like, you don't tell stories between 6 people. unless-
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more and more they do of them, it just kills it.
Well,
Like,
that's why I think it made sense to make it an event, because it's like, oh, we're going to force wrestlers to do this each year. That way we have an excuse to do it.
I remember the first best one I seen with the Money in the Bank is when they started the Monday Night Raw where everyone's sitting on the ladder and everyone's like,
Oh,
well, I'm
yeah.
a guy who's been fighting and clawing and I can never get my
That was
opportunity. So the
great.
Money in the Bank for me means this. And this person told his story of what Money in the Bank means
Yeah.
for him. And this guy got an opportunity and got screwed. So he wants, and I thought that was a cool, like, storytelling moment.
Now, the great thing they did with Money in the Bank is how they, for years, made it that it was a guaranteed title win. Like, everybody, even if you were like a mid-card guy like Punk when he first came up from ECW, or Jack Swagger, you still were the champion. And then when they finally had somebody cash in and lose, it was John Cena who could take the loss.
And there was way more thought put into the original cash-ins of like, what would the character do to cash in instead? And then in recent years, it kind of turned more into, oh, let's just wait for the pop, wait for the heat, like that. That's what it. Oh, here we go, Austin Theory. Like, oh my god, like it was stupid to me.
I'm going to give credit to Precious right now. Precious has been booking a Money in the Bank winner for the past 3 years in a row. And the person he's been booking for his Money in the Bank winner the past 3 years in a row would have been the perfect person to win over Austin Theory. And it would have been amazing for the storyline. Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Sami Zayn was holding the briefcase this entire bloodline line and like, I got your back, Roman, no one's gonna get
Precious
you.
is the only person that called Otis winning Money in the Bank too. Not that he kept it.
That is true. So the point of Money in the Bank being those two just took a sip of their drink at the same time. They really are locked in.
They're in stereo, yeah.
We hang out a lot.
The known Money in the Bank solidifying a character. I think it's done that from the beginning, and it's still
Edge, yeah, totally. It made Edge.
Oh yeah.
But with Austin Theory, he proved that, okay, yes, he's a dumbass. That's been part of his gimmick. He's been a klutz. He's done some stupid things, and he's been called out for it, and he's lost because of it. But that doesn't matter. He's still going to ruthless aggression his way to earn the things that he deserves.
All right.
I think you're thinking. I think you put more thought into it than WWE did. But
yeah, big time. I don't know. Like,
it's a good save though.
I think
it was more like Roman's not dropping the title. Let's just have him cash
yeah.
in
They're
for
like,
the US.
fuck. There's no way whoever has Money in the Bank is beating the guy that we're building up for.
Yeah, it's kind of two simultaneous things. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, no one was going to dethrone Roman, and that wouldn't have been a moment that would have justified. Although Theory being the guy who was taking selfies, it would have been a very generational defining moment.
That's why I think Sammy holding it and building up to Sammy as the cash in, and then he gets portrayed, and then he's like, I'm cashing in at Chamber, and then he loses, and then everyone's like heartbroken because they don't get their moment, and then it gives him the mega heat for then Cody to come in and be the superstar, the guy who beats him.
Which is what they're doing anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, but I think the Money in the Bank would have been more of a
he could have done the Rob Van Dam, I'm calling my shot in Montreal.
Yeah.
You'd have the if Roman wins, we riot, and then
Well, this
they
is
don't
not
riot
Money
if
in the
Roman
Bank,
wins.
gentlemen. This is the first ever Elimination Chamber Survivor Series.
Yeah,
So-
we're forgetting one of the key parts of this at Madison Square Garden.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Madison Square Garden. Always a fun ambiance there. I always love that
Skinny-
that
skinny
entrance
ramp.
that's on the hard cam. Yep.
Yes,
When he
yes.
just said, I
Old
love the
school.
hard cam where it
Old
is. I like seeing the ramp.
When they redid MSG, I was so disappointed, man. Like, they just-
AEW started doing that for a while where their hard cam was looking at the ramp, and I like
Well, that was
I
during the
love that.
COVID stuff. That was during the Daily's
Yeah.
Place shows.
yeah, I like that camera shot better.
Oh,
I
yeah,
always
it's
like
great.
that for the video games, man. Like when I'm playing the video games, like it's cool to see a crowd behind you, but I want to see the fucking stage behind you and shit when
Yeah,
I'm playing. I
especially in
like
a video
that.
game, because the
Yeah.
crowd is all doing
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Like they make them a little bit more animated now. Cool. Like it's cool for 30 seconds. Like when I bought the game, like, and then okay, I'm on. Like I want to see the arena.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
And
And I
this
like,
is
this is a good venue for the Rumble too because it was a short ramp and when it made you stare at.
oh,
who was
and when
coming.
Cena came back in 08, it was amazing.
The
And that
complete
Fun Rumble in
opposite-
2000 too.
The complete opposite mindset they have now. They're like, this is dude. They won't have to run long. They'll get right to the ring. They'll be perfect. Now they're like, run, motherfuckers, run.
Let's make the entrance ramp 3 miles away.
Why did you miss your cue, you dumbass?
It took me 8 years to get there.
Yeah, this past Rumble. This past Rumble was like by the time somebody got to the ring, it was time for somebody else to come out.
I'd like to see
Dude.
Grayson Waller like debut main roster at a Rumble like that and come out in the old school like ring cards.
Yeah.
Oh, they were great. The WrestleMania 3 cards.
Well, yeah. What Rumble was it? They were just shifting some people down in the golf carts. They're like, all right, let's
Yeah,
Yeah, big
down.
Mania.
it was.
Get these fuckers down.
It was another one at the Alamo Dome. It was the same one that this one was at. This year's was at. Yeah, back to Survivor Series. Great show, especially if you like title changes or the band Saliva, because they're both heavily featured here.
Dude.
They're both heavily featured here.
I don't think early 2000s wrestling would have survived without Saliva.
Saliva, Limp Bizkit,
Limp Bizkit.
Stained.
Limp Bizkit, like, yes,
Rob
that
Zombie.
took us in from the 90s to 2000s, but Saliva carried WWE for fucking years, dude.
Who do you think who was utilized more, Saliva or Flow Rider?
Oh, Saliva.
No,
I'll
Flow
be
Rider was
honest.
used like 8 years in a row.
I want to say Saliva played at WrestleMania in 2002 as well.
Didn't Flow Rider play too
I
somewhere?
thought he had multiple Manias and Raw appearances.
That's
Are
what
we-
I'm
Are
saying.
we getting
Flow
Saliva
Rider-
in the WWE
Flow
Hall of
Rider
Fame at some point?
may have surpassed.
They may have, yeah.
Saliva did more for professional wrestling than what Hillbilly Jim ever did, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Dude, straight up.
Whoa!
You know how many times
That's a Hillbilly Jim.
I would go to sleep at night and I'd pop in like a WWE DVD and whatever, and I fall asleep, and the menu fucking just plays the goddamn theme song of the pay-per-view all the time. You know how many times I've slept to just the same Saliva song every night? Like,
Sorry, that's a nightmare.
And Trapped was a big one too at that
dude,
point.
the worst was I want to say Survivor Series 2004, the song Ugly. And but it was just the way the singer is, like, it would wake me up every time that when he starts kicking into that hard drop. I'm like, fuck, dude. It was scary. It was terrifying. Now the songs they play baffle me. It's like, how the fuck? Like, I get it, but wow.
Yeah, like there was one year that and it was like 10 years after the song came out. I think it was the first WrestleMania in Dallas in 32. And it was that Snow song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
And it's like, the song is old. B, this song has, there's no
tempo
snow
for
in
wrestling.
Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no, and it's down, it's very like chill for wrestling.
Yeah,
But what wasn't chill is our opening match, elimination tables match, callback to the 2000 Royal Rumble, which was the Dudleys and the Hardy Boys in a elimination tables match. This is a 6-man
and no one got
elimination.
their face broken.
No, it's a 6-man elimination tables match with the new Dudleys, which is Spike and Bubba Ray, with Jeff Hardy against 3-Minute Warning and Rico.
Oh boy.
Real
So
interesting to see like
Yikes.
where SmackDown was at this point, and like Jeff Hardy, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian.
This is a Raw match.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Raw.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, 3-minute warning were like Bischoff's henchmen for a bit. They would just say 3 minutes. You've got 3 minutes. And whenever they said 3 minutes as a cue, 3-minute warning would come out and just beat whoever it was up.
Hell yeah.
That's what they did with the hot lesbian action skit, which was around this time.
Dude, it was awesome.
Where Bischoff is promising that they're going to have hot lesbian action on, or first he just says HLA. And it's hot lesbian action. They bring these 2 wrestlers in. They were actually training with John Cena at the time, and they strip down to their underwear, and then Bischoff just says they have 3 minutes, and the Samoans come out and just beat the piss out of these poor girls. They just kill them.
Yeah.
So 3-minute warning is Jamal, who would go on to beat Umaga later on. Uncle of the Usos, brother of Rikishi, and Rosie, who is Roman Reigns' brother, Matthew Wanawai, who is Sika's other son that was in wrestling. Rico was a American Gladiators champion. He was Billy and Chuck's personal stylist.
Rico. Yeah.
Hell of a worker.
Rico's awesome.
Rico was great, yeah. Except for they cut out one of my favorite spot from this match. It's clipped out of the Peacock version. There's a spot where Rico is going to moonsault one of the Dudleys. I think it's Bubba. He's going to moonsault Bubba through the table, and Jeff Hardy, who had just been out in the crowd eliminating Rosie with a swanton off the entranceway, he is supposed to come in and shake the ropes and crouch Rico so Bubba can get out of the way, and he misses his cue. So Rico's standing there and he's pretending he misses his balance. So that's where they cut in this, but it was uncomfortably long during the real thing. Like Rico's just acting like he can't catch his balance, and eventually just yells, "Come on, Jeff! God damn it!" And it's not in. They clipped it out of the Peacock version, but it was one of those things where he just gets so frustrated, just yelling for Jeff Hardy, and Jeff shakes the ropes on the opposite side of the ring because that's where he was. Yeah. But yeah, he had missed his cue.
Did you see some of the footage of the new video game yet?
I have not.
I've been peeping it all.
In the new video game,
I know there's war games. That's all I know.
If someone's on the top rope and somebody else hits the ropes, it takes them off the top turnbuckle. Like it's they.
I didn't see that. Nice.
Yeah, it's a new feature they just added. So if you're on the top rope and you hit the rope, it'll crotch them.
That's a new feature that they had in the Super Nintendo games. They had that in Super WrestleMania.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they put it back in for this one. Like they added that little bit of it because that wasn't a thing before. Yeah.
I like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is just a wild brawl. The big thing at the end is it's down to Bubba and Rico after it's not a Bubba, Jamal, and Rico, but Jamal gets eliminated through some miscommunication, and Bubba is cleaning house, but then all the heels gang up on him. 3-minute warning, and Rico gang up on Bubba. But here comes Devon, and Devon's been gone. They broke up the Dudleys in the split right after WrestleMania. He was a heel on SmackDown. He was Reverend Devon.
Yep.
Which is how they introduced Batista. He was Deacon Batista, and he would hold the collection box that people could give Devon money in.
The big ass collection box.
Yeah, it was a big collection box. And he would wear a chain around his neck that the collection box was attached to. And so that's the huge pop at the end of this for Devon coming back.
Firing.
What's that?
He comes in just firing.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Devon's a house of fire.
Losing it.
The crowd's great here. It's a hot crowd.
Sometimes when people go, "Why would you break up a tag team?" Because the return is always the payoff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And probably Devon was like, "Can I get a break from this guy just for like 6 months? I can't fucking stand my life right now."
The old thing they would say about the Pritchard brothers too. I would take a bullet for Devon and put it in Bubba. Well, did you see the big feud now? The big main feud in the NWA. Is going to be Bully Ray and Tyrus. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Bully Ray just trying to make himself the main player in every company he's at right now.
He put over Josh Alexander. He wasn't. I think that match was better than it had any right to be.
Now that he inserted himself in the men's main title picture and he's still trying to milk that cow. What better thing to do now is insert yourself in the title and the women's at the same exact time.
Oh,
maybe he could beat Mickey James. Okay, Bully Ray versus Mickey James. Book it.
He's kind of
that'd be
feeding Masha the encouragement for Masha to do it.
Well, where did Bully Ray train?
They're both Rods guys.
They're from the Rods family. Yep, they're from Gleason's.
Solid match.
Yeah. I will pop so hard if Masha becomes the world champion of Impact. And she beat Mickey James for it. When Masha first got signed and Masha was making some in waves on the indie scene, one of the first name that really put her over in a tweet and said, "Yo, there's 2 women right now that you should be paying attention to," and they said it was Masha and Trish Adora. It was Mickey James. Mickey James put over. I remember we went to the Sanctuary. We're like, "Yo, did you see Mickey James like giving Masha props, saying that Masha should be a major player in the company?" And
she's right.
What if she's the one who drops it to Masha?
Could
that'd be poetic. Yeah.
So then we have an interlude here where Stacy Keibler is at the World, formerly WWF New York, And I was surprised they didn't have like crossover here. They used to like to do that. If you've ever been to New York City, literally the World WWF New York, whatever you call it, it's the Hard Rock Cafe now. It's literally just a straight 8-block walk up the street, like Madison Square Gardens on 7th Avenue and 34th Street, and 42nd Street is where the World is. They lost so much money on this place. They lost so much money in this place. But Saliva's there. Stacy Keebler's there. Test can't be there, even though he loves being with his testicles, which was their big Vince McMahon humor at the time, where they wanted Vince Test's fans, like the Rock had the people, Hulk Hogan had the Hulkamaniac. Test is going to have the testicles.
The testicle.
And I think
if this starts blowing up and we start getting a fan base for this type of content, that's what we're calling our fans.
Yes.
The testicles.
Yep.
I think he even had a shirt that said like "I love my testicles" or something like that.
Listen, I heart ABJ as a seller. Could you imagine? We love our testicles,
dude.
I'm telling you, man.
You see, his name was Test, so the name of his fans were the testicles.
Growing up, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why. Test always had a badass song.
I didn't mind Test. I liked his look. I didn't
He
think
was
he was
cool.
awful.
When they brought him back for like the fucking revamped ECW, I was like, bet, let's go. He's all jacked and shit. He's got a crew cut.
Yeah, I didn't mind Test.
And they put him together because I think he was dating Stacy at this time too, so they would tend to do that.
Yeah.
And then what? He was part of TNA, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Test and Albert,
Yeah,
with
He
Trish,
went to TNA. He just had his fucking normal name, and they killed the whole fucking.
No,
Oh, yeah.
His tag team name was TNA. It was Test and Albert.
Yeah, that was a little before this. That was like 99. That was like 2000, 2001. Yeah, he went to Impact.
And Prince
TNA.
Albert's name was Prince Albert,
Yep.
which is a penis piercing.
He's another one who
Joke.
he's always every revamp has been great of him.
Lord Tensai.
I was gonna say Lord Tensai was weird.
Nah, Lord Tensai was awesome because it was so fucking dumb. Everybody was like, yo, Albert's coming back. A-Train's coming back. He's about to wreck shit. We got Brock back now. A-Train's coming back. No, here comes this weird ass motherfucker. All because he went to Japan and came back. Like that was the whole reason.
He went to Japan and got wash-off tattoos.
He got over his fucking Japan, and then he comes back, and that's what they made him.
They gave him Hakushi's gimmick. Yeah, the paint on tattoos.
It was so good, dude. It was so good.
Matthew in the chat, Stephen Chambers in the chat.
Yeah, blown up Hakushi. There you go. I didn't even see Vox's
That's what I'm
comment there.
saying. Like,
Vox is right there with us.
So then our second match of the evening, first title match, first title change, is Jamie Noble, who was one of my favorites at this time. Jamie Noble and Nydia were fun against Billy Kidman. Jamie Noble and Nydia was like the queen of the trailer park. She would just look like these really gaudy like furs and things like that. They had her win the lottery, and she had a bunch of money. She went blind at one point. Nydia was a lot of fun with Jamie Noble here. Billy Kidman's more your straight-laced. He had his new music, which was way too good for Billy Kidman. It was like some rap song.
I was actually like a
Billy Kidman was good. Billy Kidman
liked
was great.
He was my pick in the video games, and then I ended up finding out, didn't Kidman train around here?
Well, Samoans, yeah, he was a Samoan guy.
Yeah, he was, and he not only was he a Samoan guy, but I think he has the record for the fastest like training to first match.
Could be. Kidman was excellent.
That the Samoans ever had. Like they would say, like, "Yo, no one got a hold of the business quicker than Kidman." If I could be wrong with that, but I don't know.
Well, he didn't have good mind for it. He was a backstage guy forever. I think he only left WWE like maybe a year or two ago. He was the guy that would time out the shows in the back for a while.
He's still part of it, right?
I believe he left. Right around the pandemic or a little after the pandemic. I think he got furloughed during the pandemic, came back for a little bit, and then left officially. Yeah, Billy Kidman had a great mind for the business.
From Allentown. He's from Allentown.
Somebody famously said he couldn't headline a flea market, but what can you do? What can you do? That was a Hulk Hogan line, and they made an angle out of it.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, Billy Kidman was good. Good here. This is a fun match. There's a big spot of blood in the ring. I guess Rico got cut up going through the table. They do mention the cruiserweights are SmackDown exclusive. The problem was they didn't really have a lot of depth in the division for a while. It would just be the guy and whoever they were feuding with would be your two cruiserweights. That was a problem with the tag division when you had the splits too. A lot of creative DDTs here. Nydia's distracting on the outside. And this is when they were okay with man-on-woman violence. So
they're loosening up on it again.
it seems like they're doing more intergender stuff, but like Nydia gets bumped accidentally by Jamie Noble, takes a bump off the apron. Nydia was fairly new here too.
She was
this
just
is
not tough enough.
Yeah, this is shortly after the first season of Tough Enough. So later on, you'll see Chris Nowinski. Maven's not really here. Maven would get his big star-making spot at the Royal Rumble after this, which is where he eliminated The Undertaker. But then, yeah.
Also had great theme music.
Yeah, and a great drop kick.
And one of the best photos that you were ever in.
He took one of the best photos I'm in. It's me and VSK, and Maven took the picture, and it's a really good picture. And the Sandman's like yawning in the background. It's great. I love it. Yeah, Maven was cool. I liked spending a little bit of time.
He was
with Maven.
really, really, really nice. We met up two or three times now.
I only met Maven once.
He was at Hamburg, and then he was at PPW.
Oh, yeah, I didn't really meet him in Hamburg.
Oh.
I know. Didn't they use your phone or your phone stand or something or your mics?
No. I took a photo of the interview being happened.
Oh yeah, because he did the interview with Van Vliet there.
Yeah, and then Van Vliet took the photo and used it. But no, Van Vliet's entire setup that he was using to record the podcast was exactly the same equipment that we use for our stuff.
Oh,
I remember
nice.
saying, and I was like, "We're on the same page. We have the same shit." Like
Chris is awesome too.
Love him to death.
And then Kidman kicked Nydia off when she tried to interfere with the Shooting Star Press fights. Noble off gets the 3. They do say Kidman's a 3-time cruiserweight champion. He's really a 6-time because he had won it 3 times in WCW too.
Yeah.
I think it was not long after this that he had the tag team with Paul London, which was a good team. So they brought in Paul London around this time.
Another very good underrated guy.
Absolutely. Oh, love Paul London. Backstage, we have Angle and somebody I can't really name. Angle and himself. They're doing that whole tag partners that hate each other thing. Chris Benoit. And they're
don't eat a chicken sandwich by his gear bagger. He'll bully you and kick you out of the locker room.
Well, that's not the worst thing you ever did. Not by a long shot. So Angle says tag partners can't shake hands. Tag partners got a hug. And he also said in the beginning, if Billy freaking Kidman can win a title, so can we. Kurt Angle at his best here.
Angle's he's hard to say that he's not one of the GOATs of all time, dude.
He's incredible.
He's so talented, and he can do any angle, comedy, serious. So good, Kurt Angle.
The humor there is great. And then I forgot they did this thing called the F view. Get it? Like F-U, F view.
Yeah.
So they just have a camera. It's so creepy in retrospect. They have a camera like up in the ceiling watching Victoria's dressing room. Who said that? Oh yeah, we got to put a camera in the women's locker room.
Man, brother, who else?
Yeah. That was probably a real camera. They're just like, hey, by the way, every now and then we're gonna use it. Yeah.
Someone pitched it in. They're like, signed off. Got it.
God damn, that's good shit. God damn it, that's good shit.
So this is an interesting. I think this is one of the first times they really did this. They did it on Raw once, but it was a little more gimmicky. It is a hardcore women's title match. It's Trish Stratus defending against Victoria. And the whole thing is that Trish is the babyface here. Victoria comes in and says they were both fitness models at the same time. And Trish slept her way into WWE and told them not to hire her is the kind of basis of this angle. And some of the commentary aged poorly here. Victoria's saying it does a promo talking about.
I'm trying to remember now. Who was the commentary?
Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler for this.
Oh, Jim Ross on a women's match not being appropriate? Oh,
well, it was Lawler more than Ross. But no, it was Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler for the Raw matches and Michael Cole and Taz for SmackDown.
These girls aren't playing with their Barbie dolls anymore. He said,
no, it was more Lawler than Ross here. Ross is the straight man. But even Victoria, she does this backstage interview with Terry Runnels talking about how Trish and Terry have pretty little puppies. It's like, what the
yeah, they played up on the puppies thing big.
Yeah. Lawler says it's a hardcore match. Anything goes. Hopefully they're close. The crowd.
Jerry's still getting paid for this to say puppies at cons.
Yeah. And even the crowd, because when we were talking about 3-minute warning, how they had the HLA thing. There was probably a month or two before this. The crowd has HLA chants during the match. But it's an intense match. Like there's some stuff that got kind of. They rushed through it a little bit and maybe didn't look as crisp as it could have, but they were intense. They worked hard. It was a fun match. And then the only thing that was kind of a little off was the ending. The ending kind of came out of nowhere. They're hitting each other with mirrors. They're doing table spots. And then it's like the finish is Victoria sprays Trish with a fire extinguisher, does a snap suplex, and gets the pin. It reminded me of the old ECW matches where Shane Douglas would be in the main event and they would be hitting each other with chairs and chains and nuclear warheads and whatever else they can find. And then the finish would be Shane Douglas hits a Billy Baylor suplex, and that's 1, 2, 3.
Sounds like New Japan for me, where they literally do everything but decapitate their opponent and still get a false finish.
In ECW, they would literally decapitate their opponent in 2 count and then Billy to Billy suplex and it was over.
Bro, that Ospreay, I went back and watched it again, the Ospreay Kenny Omega. Bro, you would be dead for homicide for some of the like a guy just stands there and you knee him directly in the face 6 times in a row. Like you would cave his face in. You would break his whole face. And they're just like 1, 2 kick out. Oh my god, it's still another 30 minutes of this.
Yeah.
Was Jerry Lawler's commentary. Like both Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross and Taz and Cole were like cracking each other up the entire show. But the opening to this show is Jerry the King Lawler just screaming. He like it's the Elimination Chamber and he just goes, ah!
Well, you just gave me an idea how we're starting the Sanctuary. Huh?
Oh boy. Don't encourage him.
That was his first heart attack.
I'm going to be deaf in my right ear by the time Sanctuary is over this year.
Yeah.
So then we get some more backstage stuff. Booker T is getting ready for the Elimination Chamber. Bischoff puts it over. Big Show interrupts, says he'll regret trading. So yeah, shortly before this, Bischoff traded. I forget who they said they traded him for, but Bischoff traded the Big Show to SmackDown. I guess Heyman really wanted Big Show. Heyman liked working with him. Heyman is talking backstage with Brock. Brock has a rib injury. And Heyman does that little foreshadowing. I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that my client will leave the WWE champion. Doesn't say Brock Lesnar. He says my client. I wonder where that could be going.
Oh, man.
And that's our next match. Brock Lesnar is super over. This is kind of him officially going babyface for a little bit. Heavy hitting match. Brock's a little green still. Brock had only been on the main roster at this point for about 6 months.
Yeah, Brock was still capable of getting injured. Now he's just that's not a thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He was still human at this point.
Yeah, kind of superhuman with some stuff, but definitely still human.
Just like in really good shape at this time period.
Yeah, weird gear though. He's wearing like slacks and a singlet under it.
Sexy. I don't know. I kind of liked this gear for Big Show and the slacks, the boots, and the singlet.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, pants and a singlet. Of course you would like it. So yeah, heavy hitting match. Heyman tosses in a chair. Brock uses it. F5. A new ref runs in. There's a ref bump there.
They are really stupid pants too. Who the hell would wear those? only 50% of this chat wore those pants.
Yes.
The hand-me-down golden pants.
Exactly.
Wasn't there a movie about that?
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you two are ever a tag team, it's the Brotherhood of the Traveling Pants.
Sanctuary makes their next short film.
I just can't wait for the third person to wear those.
The Brotherhood of the Traveling Pants.
The Brotherhood of the Traveling. A Sanctuary full-length production.
So, lo and behold, the referee runs in to count Big Show out, and it's 1, 2. Paul Heyman pulls the referee out. He has turned on Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar realizes it, and the fear in Paul Heyman's face is great here. Lesnar chases him around the ring. Paul runs in. Big Show's there to intercept. Chair to the ribs, chair to the head, choke slam. That's it. And then Big Show and Paul Heyman get out of dodge before Brock Lesnar can do anything about it. One thing I vividly remember is the SmackDown after this. Somebody, I don't know if it was like a security guy, just a local guy they hired, or it was like an interviewer or somebody, but somebody comes up to Brock Lesnar to get his thoughts about what Paul Heyman and the Big Show did at the Survivor Series. And Brock Lesnar literally just pushes them through a wall. And it's amazing.
Because
it's amazing.
What an absolute shame that like the Big Show was like not champion more. Like he seems like the guy in pro wrestling that should be champion pretty often, because you look at any time period that he wrestled and he was great. He was very consistent.
I think Ryan Vox is a pair of pants that's been going around for like 4 or 5 different wrestlers as well.
Yeah, all of my wrestling gear is hand-me-downs except for my shoes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very cool.
I think Vox got his tights from somebody, then Vox gave his tights to Quay, and then Quay got new tights, and he's gonna pass it down to somebody else. I love pro
Hell
wrestling.
yeah.
That's great. So yeah, Big Show doesn't keep the title long here. He loses it to Angle the next month in Armageddon. Both the new champions here don't keep. They lose their titles. They lose their titles shortly thereafter. And I wonder if one.
Like Precious said, isn't it crazy that Big Show is a transitional champion? Like,
Yeah.
Who do we need to transition the belt? The fucking biggest guy.
Oh, we want Mark Henry to be champion? Okay.
Like that, I think that's Big Show's biggest issue is he was too much of a yes man. Like anything they'd say, he'd be like, yeah. Like he probably was one of those guys that didn't put his foot down. He's just going with the flow, you know?
Even though he's got the biggest foot to put down.
Exactly. Like, dude.
And maybe that's
remember-
their thought.
Once the internet made fun of Big Show crying, it was all downhill from there. Like he was fucked. His career, there's no coming back.
Big Show, and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Don't cry on camera.
Maybe
Listen. We're gonna promote men expressing their feelings, but then when you do, you're gonna get made fun of for it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe their thought process is, maybe Heyman's thought process is, I don't have anybody, and because they're building up to Lesnar Angle. That was the WrestleMania match. I didn't want Lesnar to chase the title in the WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So maybe the thought process is, well, we can't have Angle win it. Who is going to be believable to beat Brock? And it's Big Show might be the only guy we have.
Yeah.
The other side of this is, and maybe they didn't want the title on Lesnar for this. There was talk around this time, and it didn't happen. We talked about this before he went live. There was talk around this time for No Way Out between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania in 2003 of Lennox Lewis, who was the heavyweight champion of the world at this point, doing a legit shoot boxer versus wrestler match with Brock Lesnar. And Vince offered him something close to $8 million. And Lennox Lewis was about to do it, and somebody got in his ear and was like, no, Brock Lesnar's going to embarrass you. Don't do it. And he backed out.
Yeah, could you imagine that? That'd be awesome.
Lennox Lewis, boxers do not do very well against double leg takedowns.
The only guy who did well, and it's the way a boxer would do it, is Ray Mercer fought Tim Sylvia, and Tim Sylvia shot in for the takedown, but he didn't get low enough, and Mercer caught him with an uppercut and knocked him out.
Yeah,
Bro.
And that's a chance that Lennox Lewis would have had, because if Lesnar would have double legged him, that would have been end credits.
Yeah.
So we get a recap of the tag team scene on SmackDown, and this is where the SmackDown 6 come in, and the 6 amazing workers that Paul Heyman kind of made the nucleus of his show, and it's Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, Edge, and Rey Mysterio, and they're trading the tag titles back and forth. The first champs, I believe, were Benoit and Angle, and at this point, Rey and Edge are the champs. We also get a crowd shot. Dawn Marie and Al Wilson are here. Al Wilson is legitimately Tori Wilson's father, and they did a whole thing where Dawn Marie was playing mind games with Tori Wilson by seducing her father, and eventually she marries Al Wilson, and for some reason they put him in his underwear. He like strips down to his underwear and during the wedding.
Horn dog.
Yeah, and then they killed him off. He died. Like, I think he died on the honeymoon or something. They almost did the same thing with Teddy Long, but they knew that he lived.
Kill him
All right. So we're tabling this because a future episode is gonna be the worst father moments in professional wrestling.
That'd be good for June. That'd be good for a Father's Day show.
Best and worst father appearances in professional wrestling.
Yes.
We can do that for we never did get Daddy Dudley. They only ever talked about Daddy Dudley in ECW. Because the Dudleys,
what's another dad in wrestling that just immediately pops your head?
The Miz, John Cena.
Mrs. Dad.
Mrs. Dad is the greatest dad of all time.
Dude.
He's George Mazanin is amazing.
I'll fucking give you one. I'll fucking give you. I'll lay it right out.
He just got bumped. He took moves.
Yeah.
You had Bunkhouse Buck as Jack Swagger's dad at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kurt Angle being Jason Jordan's dad.
Yes.
Legendary.
Yes. All because Kurt Angle may have dated a few black women in his life. That's the only reason they even did that angle.
I love it.
Pro wrestling, baby.
It's awesome.
So then we have The triple threat or elimination tag match, not triple threat. Los Guerreros, Angle and Benoit, and Edge and Ray. Pretty fun match here. Ray they had like a side thing for Pyro. Ray comes out through there, comes through the crowd. It's like off to where the normal entrance would be, but it's away from hard cam. This is kind of the peak of the SmackDown 6 because Angle's getting elevated to the main event. Ray would be continuing to do some stuff going forward here. And the Guerreros would kind of be your anchors of the tag division for a bit. Benoit and Ray start. Ray was a workhorse in this. Ray worked a lot of this match. The action's great. Angle and Eddie are super, super over. People love Eddie Guerrero. People love Kurt Angle. The first elimination
rivalry is probably my favorite. Like I think Eddie Kurt is one of my favorite rivalries in wrestling.
One of my favorite matches in WWE is from No Way Out in 2004 when Eddie beats Brock for the title in El Paso. It's an amazing match. It's so emotional. It's like they do a Goldberg run-in, but there's stuff after it, so it feels like it's Eddie's. It feels like it's Eddie's win. And even though he cheats, but it's Eddie Guerrero. He's supposed to cheat. It's his brand. And Taz is great on commentary, just screaming, Eddie cheated, Eddie cheated. Like, yeah, of course he did. He's Eddie Guerrero. And they do some Guerrero hijinks here, because Benoit has, I believe, Edge in the crippler crossface, and Chavo hits him in the back with a belt shot, and then throws the belt to Angle. And Benoit thinks Angle's trying to turn on him, and there's an argument there. Edge eliminates Benoit. And then we have a really good a really good just straight up tag team match between the Guerreros and Edge and Ray. Chavo belt shots Ray again, or Ray this time on the West Coast pop after the 619. Eddie gets the lasso from El Paso, and that's the submission win. Fun match.
They got so much into this match. It was crazy the entire time. And I realized that the gear that Los Guerreros wore, specifically Eddie's, the black, yellow, purple, and white, is the same. It influenced Otis and Gable's gear that they've been wearing for the last couple months, because it's the same design down the side.
Eddie Guerrero is one of the most influential wrestlers on this generation of anybody.
Yeah.
He's like the first. You can always tell when somebody's repping Eddie and tribute gear and stuff like that right away.
But just don't don't be a Japanese guy and do it, because then you'll get heat from Conan.
Yeah, you see, he tried to play it off. He's like, I'm just fucking around.
Yeah. He said, "You're not Mexican. Don't do Eddie's chant." And everyone's like, "Where's the same energy with 90% of what else is happening on TV?"
Yeah. And then he played it off. He's like, "I was just fucking around." He's like, "Everybody does a frog splash."
Yeah. He got called out, and they didn't know how to handle it.
He's also just out of his mind these days.
That too. All right.
So then. We have a big segment before the next match. We have a promo from Christopher Nowinski, straight from Harvard. The only Harvard graduate, or the first Harvard graduate in because I think Otunga went to Harvard too. The first Harvard graduate in WWE. This is before his career-ending injury at the hands of Tommy Dreamer, which gave him a severe concussion and kind of set him down the path that he's down now, where he is the head of the Sports Legacy Institute, and they're doing a lot of CTE tests, and a lot of wrestlers and other athletes have donated their brain to his foundation, and they're really understanding the impact of head injuries on wrestlers and other athletes. But here he's just saying he's kind of healing on the New York crowd. He says he's the only Harvard graduate in the arena. Street smarts aren't intelligent. New Yorkers are street smart, but they're stupid. You can't buy intelligence like the Yankees have bought World Series titles. And the crowds get into it. There's
sports teams.
Always. New York is number one in stupidity. And this brings out Matt Hardy version 1. The Matt facts here. Matt keeps his room temperature at a toasty 75 degrees. That's way too hot. Way too hot. And he only drinks low-fat chocolate milk. Those are your Matt facts. Matt facts.
That's awesome.
He kind of teases he's going to go babyface here, and people are kind of up for it because they want the Hardys back and everything. He's got the Dudleys back. But he says New Yorkers are not stupid. They're losers. There's a huge difference. And so they go back and forth. So eventually they compromise. They're losers and they're stupid. They're looped is the compromise. And they hug it out. And you're like, okay, this is leading to somewhere. And oh, yes, it is, because the sirens go off. And Scott Steiner, looking like a walking injection of Diana Ball, is coming out. And yeah, the crowd goes nuts. He just cleans house. Everybody's loving Scott Steiner.
Big pop, real big pop.
Big Papa Punk.
Yeah.
Now was he doing stuff on the indie scene?
Indies, no.
Or like another company that he was so like.
Yes, he was.
Impact?
No, he didn't do anything with Impact really. He did. This is like a year and a half after WCW closed, and the only people left that hadn't really been brought in at this point that would be brought in were him and Goldberg. And Goldberg didn't come in until after WrestleMania, and Sting. Well, Sting didn't come in for 10 years. Yeah, Sting. But of the people that did come in relatively close to the end, the only people left were Sting, who took forever, Goldberg, who came in about 4 months after this, 6 months after this, and Steiner here. And I think they had telegraphed it, like it was an open secret he was coming in. They even mentioned he did something with him on WWE Confidential the night before. But he did, I think the only thing he really did, because a lot of those guys didn't take buyouts. They had guaranteed contracts from Turner, so they just kept getting paid to sit at home. And then once it got close enough, they would just buy it out and get a deal with Vince. He did, Vox was saying he might have worked 3WA around that time, so maybe he was doing indies. Yeah. The only thing he was doing on a big level was he was doing this thing from Australia called WWA. It was World Wrestling All-Stars. And Sting would work there. A lot of the TNA guys would work there. It was this Australian talk show host, Andrew McManus, who was like the David Letterman of Australia, started the company and did a few pay-per-views. But that was the only thing he did, unless he did, maybe, I guess he did do some indie shots too. So he's there. And then after that, Terry Runnels chases down Shawn Michaels in the back. Why does he believe he can win this? And Shawn's about to give his answer. And one of my favorite bits of 2002, the RNN news update, breaks in. It was Randy Orton because he had to separate his shoulder. Adina Steele needs to start doing this. We need the Adina Steele news update because of her shoulder injury. Randy's whole thing is he would always give like what percent his shoulder was at. He would say, "Oh, my shoulder this week. I have great news. My shoulder is at 57%." And then next week,
Adina's not too far away from a comeback. And someone has a little more time, so maybe the Philly Mike updates.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a shoulder injury. It can be a knee injury. Yeah. Mike in a suit like a news reporter would be amazing. That'd be great.
And then we have to, like, when Tommy
slick it back,
his hair back, and just grease and slick your hair super straight.
I was just thinking of a gimmick for someone where they go to, every time they try to interview a wrestler, it's right before they're about to walk out for their entrance. Like every single time, it's just, and it's shoot too. They just run up like the second the music starts playing, you run up and get as many words in as you can. See what they
I may have actually did this with somebody for real at PPW because I wasn't experienced and I didn't realize they were about to go through the curtain.
It'd be great because every wrestler is different. Like some people will be able to like give you a nice little one-liner.
Some people
and shit like that.
They transform.
And some people, that's what I mean. Some people will get pissed off that you're like fucking with them before their cue or whatever, where the anxiety will hit them that they're about to miss their cue. Oh my God, God forbid. Like.
Luckily, I did it with somebody who was super professional and super cool. It was Ricardo Rodriguez, who was a pro about it.
Yeah.
The RNN update here is there was he did fly to the show for Survivor Series, but there was no damage done to his shoulder during the flight, thanks to an extra pillow from the sexy flight attendant Sherry.
Oh yeah, that's shoot, brother.
And then we get a video montage, a Triple H promo, a very long Eric Bischoff explanation of what the Elimination Chamber is and the rules. Very long. Could have been a graphic. It's like those meetings that could have been an email. And then we get a live intro for Jericho. Saliva is still at the World, and they do his King of My World song, which is on like one of the albums they put out around this time. Yes. And so that... This is one of the rare times that Jericho's music isn't break the walls down. This is like one of the very few times in WWE that they didn't have that music.
They're really putting over.
I wonder how that translated to the live crowd, like how good they heard it.
Yeah, I guess I'm guessing they patched in over the PA.
Yeah.
It'd be like hearing a promo over the Titantron, I guess.
Yeah, probably. But also you have to get a live signal from there to there, and then have it make sure it's timed up, and there's a lot of variables.
Or maybe they just played it earlier and recorded it. That they could have done that.
That's probably the smart thing to do.
And then Rob Van Dam and Triple H are going to start it out. Lots of fighting on the grating. Van Dam's doing a lot of dives onto the grating outside. That's the novelty of the match, so they really emphasize the work outside the ring here. Jericho's in third. Booker T's in fourth. I forgot how early in the match this happens, but Rob Van Dam hits the 5-star frog splash off the top of one of the chamber roofs, and the ceilings weren't as tall as they are now in the Elimination Chamber. He didn't have that extra kind of space there. So Van Dam couldn't really extend. He couldn't really extend the way he wanted to on the frog splash. He kind of just fell, and when he puts his leg out, his shin comes right across Triple H's throat. Like, Triple H almost died backstage after this. He couldn't breathe when he got to the back. His throat closed up.
Yeah. Vox said that they even put walls into his WCW entrance.
I know, so you don't get that cool song you have. He was a babyface that he hates. Or the knockoff of Even Flow by Pearl Jam, which is
the Even Flow. What was the other one? Like, Smells Like Teen Spirit was a knockoff, right?
That was DDP's, DDP's. That was DDP's. Yep. And Ravens was kind of a knockoff of Come As You Are.
Yeah.
So yeah, Triple H is hurt legit, and he's down for a while here. RVD's selling the knee. Booker T gets a pin on Rob Van Dam from a flying drop kick of all things, a missile drop kick. This is back when you didn't have to hit your finish to get a win, especially in an elimination match. Jericho and Booker pair off to give Triple H some time. Kane comes in. This was the night of the Lion Salt, too. Like, a few people lost to the Lion Salt. Booker goes through the axe kick on Kane. Jericho low blows Booker after the axe kick, or before he can even deliver it. Kane chokeslams Booker. Lion Salt from Jericho takes Booker out. Michaels comes in. Huge pop. This is when Michaels has his brown pants and his Dutch boy haircut. His hair's not quite long enough yet.
So I was not watching wrestling at the time. This is when I was fully immersed in MMA. And someone said, yo, your favorite wrestler's back, and he just won the world title. And I looked at the photo of Sean. I go, I'm not watching that.
Dude, it got even worse when he came back bald. Like, that makes that look like nothing.
I'd rather bald in that brown gear and the tiny hair.
No, I'll take that, and I'll take young Cowboy Sean over old aged fucking looking like a Jeff Dunham's puppet.
Walter.
Walter, yes.
And this was only Michaels' second match back in WWE at this point. He had come back for SummerSlam and beat Triple H in a street fight, but he wrestled in jeans.
Sick fuck, dude. Like, he's like, come back, work that shit, and then he's like, oh, eliminate, let's do it.
It's like what they say about Tom Brady. Michaels had two separate Hall of Fame careers. He had a Hall of Fame career pre the back injury, pre 1997, and then this run here from 2002 to like when he retired in 2010. That's another Hall of Fame career in and of itself.
And he debuted for WWE. He debuted the ladder match. He's credited for the first ladder match, and now he's credited for the first Elimination Chamber,
the first in WWE,
and the first Hell in a Cell.
The first ladder match in WWE. There had been ladder matches before. In fact, Brett brought it from Stampede. Brett was Brett's pitch. Yeah. The first one was Brett and Shawn, and there was one.
And he's the first guy to win the Rumble from one.
He is, yeah.
So a lot of firsts for Shawn.
Yeah, first. I was trying to think of a joke.
I was waiting for a dig.
I wasn't quick enough. Something about losing.
First Iron Man, WWE Iron Man.
Yes. Yeah, because the first Iron Man match would have been. I think the first one was that one at WrestleMania 12. WCW had done a few. They called them marathon matches though, and they were only a half hour. They did one with them with Rick Rude. They would always do them with Rick Rude at Beach Blast. They did one with Rick Rude and Ricky Steamboat, and they did one with Rick Rude and Dustin Rhodes.
I was watching something the other day where they're running down all Shawn Michaels' credentials and shit like that, and they're like, it's kind of bullshit how he's missed their WrestleMania because his WrestleMania record is garbage.
Yeah, it's more about the performance.
I think it's like 6-11 or some shit like that. Like it's garbage.
I was watching the when Stone Cold had on Taker, like it came on my Peacock, and I was like, oh, I'll watch it. And they're both like, let's talk about this guy. And they put Shawn, and he was talking about the tape in the fist. And he's like, he's like, I was back there. I was waiting. And he goes, I will say this. And Stone Cold's like, listen, I'm going to be honest. I hated the guy back in the day. So, and then Taker's like, hated him too. But he really changed himself. He really improved himself. But he goes, even in the hate the heyday of both of us hating them, they both said when it comes to probably their opinion who is the greatest of all time, they both say like there was nobody better in between the ropes than Shawn Michaels.
Oh, nobody denies the guy's talent, not even close. Although The Rock hates him so much, he's not even in Young Rock. Like they have a whole separate character named Chad Frost.
I find that so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Apparently he was horrible to The Rock when The Rock first came in. He was horrible to him. That's why The Rock never worked with him ever. When The Rock got clout and The Rock became a star, he never worked with Shawn.
That's so good. I just got the episode where he meets everybody in the locker room, and it was.
What if Shawn is the reason Rock's not returning to pro wrestling because Shawn's back in the picture?
Well, I mean, The Rock and Triple H didn't have the best. They were a little more friendly than The Rock and Shawn were.
Shawn's like, if Vince ain't there, I ain't coming. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Because they always say Triple H and Jericho didn't get off to the best start either, but they're cool now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, Michaels comes in and RVD and Booker are out. Michaels cleans house for a little bit, but then Kane takes over. Jericho goes through the glass. Everybody gets choke slammed. Triple H pushes off on a tombstone though, and they get a sweet chin music on Kane. Pedigree and another Lion Salt. The Lion Salt takes out Kane too. So that's 2 in a row taken down by the Lion Salt. The heels, and I never liked that move. I never liked it because it didn't look like it hurt. It looked like he was just floating on the guy.
Yeah.
It's very rare. He gets his hands down first.
Yeah.
Or his knees hit and then
it looked very dainty. It looked like a dainty move. Like the 450 splash I love because it looks like you're just coming down hard on a guy.
Yeah.
And you probably are, so that's probably why people might not like to take it. But like that Lion Salt just looks very like a feather's landing on you. I'm sure it's more high impact than that.
That sounds like a good Philly Mike shirt. Coming down hard on guys.
That's why I love the best moonsault ever because
what your drop kick. It's your drop kick, and then the back says Philly Mike coming down hard on guys.
For some reason, the best moonsault ever just came across like more impactful than a normal, just like woo, Lion Salt or moonsault, whatever. Because he's like boom, boom, and then like he would fucking plant on you, like it. But yeah, Jericho, you could tell was just like woo, rubbing across the guy, not landing on him, rubbing across them.
Mm-hmm.
So the heels, double juice here. Michaels and Triple H are both bleeding. The heels gang up on Michaels. Michaels is a bloody mess. You do get a hope spot there. Michaels fires up a little bit, but he gets backdrop on the grating, and that meant something. It's kind of like nowadays when you see Bryan Danielson take a shot to the head, you're like, oh, I hope he's okay. Like you get worried for a second. You get like legit concerned. That's
like, how Shawn's one back bump away from being gone again.
Yeah, especially now because like he wasn't a full-time wrestler again yet. This is only his second match back. He had the one match for his school in like 2002, but that doesn't really count. Or 2000 or 1999 or whenever it was. But yeah, you're like a little worried, like, oh, can Shawn withstand this? And obviously he did. He wrestled for 7 more years. But it's like, oh, you like kind of winced every time you take a bad back bump. And so they get back into the ring. Bulldog in the ring. Another Lion Salt, but only 2 this time. The Lion Salt cannot put away Shawn Michaels. Michaels does get, Jericho does get Michaels in the wall. Or no, Michaels gets Jericho in the walls, but there's a DDT from Hunter. But then the Jericho Triple H alliance collapses, and they start fighting amongst each other. And Jericho, the crowd goes nuts too, even though Jericho's a heel. He gets Triple H in the walls of Jericho, and the crowd's going nuts because Jericho never got that win on Triple H. Never. I don't think it ever happened, even going forward after this, except for that one that was like a dusty finish with Hebner.
Mm-hmm.
So the crowd's going nuts because they want Triple H to lose so bad. And then Shawn Michaels hits the sweet chin music out of nowhere, and he gets booed a little bit because the crowd just wanted Jericho to beat Triple H. They wanted to come down to Michaels and Jericho.
Stay out of it.
Which is good. They left them wanting that match because that was the WrestleMania match at 19. It was Michaels and Jericho.
Yep.
The super kick ends it, and that eliminates Jericho. So now we're down to the final 2. Everybody kind of expected this final 2: Triple H, the champion, and Shawn Michaels, and they put on a very exciting finish here. The old main event spine buster gets 2. Triple H would beat like Mid Carter's with that spine buster or the sleeper. Like if you weren't good enough to take the pedigree. They would call it the main event sleeper because you're not coming in the main event. Like I think he beat Bubba Ray Dudley with a sleeper. So the spine buster gets 2. Michaels tries to pedigree Triple H on the grating, but Triple H counters and then slingshots Michaels through the chamber. He looks dead. he's just in a heap of glass and he looks dead. He's a bloody mess. It's great. They're back in the ring, back and forth fight. Michaels hits an elbow off the top of the chamber. Super
Which,
kick
by
is
the
countered.
way, dude, I just really I go back and I watch like Michael's elbow and just the elbow drop in general. And now knowing what I know about professional wrestling and that, bro, if your finishing move is a top rope elbow drop, that looks like it fucking blows because you're
Dude.
essentially taking your entire bump on your hip.
Yeah, there was one time at GTS I gave a fucking elbow drop to somebody, and yeah, my whole hip just blew.
Because you
And I
can't
just-
flat bump that and you can't
Exactly.
land comfortably. You have to legit land on your
You're
fucking hip.
taking a side bump, and literally, yeah, side bumps suck. And jumping off anything and doing it, yeah,
And if you
Well,
don't
a side
commit
bump
and you
would be
stick your leg down, you're snapping your leg.
yeah. But
I
like,
don't
yeah,
throw those.
I was walking weird, like the whole like I hit it and like I felt it in my hip. I'm like, oh, and like I was just like laying there and pinned him, and I'm like crawling around. I'm like, I can't really move right. But
That's
yeah,
one of those moves that I didn't realize until later on when I realized what bumps suck and which ones don't from like learning stuff.
dude.
Dude, I watch elbow drops like, oh, you're a fucking nut. Like
Well,
Kari's, yeah.
That's how I feel anytime, like with my knee injury, like and how fragile my knee was. Anytime people come hard down on their knees, I'm fucking, oh my god, like hard
Yeah.
450s, hard frog splashes, like, well, in certain rings you just hear it. It sounds like a fucking explosion. Like it's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck
stop,
that.
stop.
Like they even asked Hogan, like if you could go back and do your career over again, what would you do? He said I would have had a different finish because he killed his hip with that leg drop.
Yeah, fucking Prince Ahmed, this motherfucker told me to one day because he does a lot of shit to his knees, like whether the opponent's coming to his knees or he's dropping to his knees. And I was like, dude, like stop. Like you don't have the biggest legs to begin with. Like you're gonna break something. His logic, his mindset is he's like, oh, I know I'm gonna fuck my knees up, so I might as well use them while I have them. I'm like, you motherfucker. Like
He's a
I
nut.
swear, dude.
Especially a guy that's that talented, could just do like a million submissions and have a great match every time.
It's unfair, man. It's not right. And he'll just think of
He's so good.
as he's in there. Like a lot of that shit is not called. He's just thinking of it. He's like, give me your arm.
He told me and
Here
Pete
you
that one night
go."
in commentary. We're like, yo, what were you thinking there? He goes, all I know, all I knew was I was working this limb, and I was like, this would look cool, and I just did.
I'm gonna try this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So talented, so innovative. That guy.
If you want to
He's
check out a
amazing.
really good match with Mike, his match with Prince Ahmed at Smashmaster, very good match.
Yeah, one of my favorites. That was fun.
I had to go in a Sanctuary too.
Yeah. Yes.
That guy
yes.
is criminally underrated.
Oh yeah.
Prince Ahmed's so good.
Yep.
Fantastic.
So then, just to close out the Survivor Series, the super kicks countered into a pedigree, and then they do the super delayed cover. This is the kind of cover. There's a lot of time between the pedigree and the cover. There was even more time between the pedigree and the cover a few months later at WrestleMania when it was Booker T and Triple H got the pin. Triple H did the pedigree. He read the book Infinite Jest, and then he pinned Booker T.
I like when Shawn would hit the super kick and he would like have to crawl over to him. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Dude,
I love when he would hit it and then just like land over top.
all on him. All on him.
That's the best, dude.
Well, they even did a thing. I think it might have been the Royal Rumble after this when they did a like the third in the trilogy with Michaels and Triple H. I think they did a double pin thing where he does a super kick and he does that lean back cover, but he leans back so far his shoulders are down, and they do a double pin.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can have, if I know you're very early in your career, but if you can have someone you're like, I would love to have a trilogy with, who's the one person, but you're like, I can only have 3 matches. I'm only getting 3 matches out of them. We're going to do a trilogy. Who would you pick, Mike?
I like somebody who quickly always comes to mind is Matt Quay. Like I like somebody that would just, you can have a great match anytime you mix it up with Matt Quay.
You know who my pick for you would be?
Who's that?
And I'm probably sure you already worked him, but I would put you two in a storyline in a heartbeat if I ran a company. You versus Pete Corvus.
Yeah.
I think you two, your character work, your heels, your just like attitudes in general, and then what you both bring to the ring. I think you and Corvus would be like a really good rivalry.
The funny thing about me and Pete is like he was the top like anti-Grim character on GTS for years. And then as I was coming in, he was kind of like drifting off, like doing his own thing or whatever. And so I started to work my way up, and then I became like that top anti-Grim character. So we did always get those comparisons as far as just like running our mouths, shit talkers that just mix it up and brawl.
You
and
and
shit.
Grim, you and Grim. You and Corvus would be honestly like Kevin and Sammy. Like you guys would just
for like years we avoided each other, and we just never we're real close, good friends, and we just never mix it up until at Grimm's this past summer we had like a short match like here and there, but it was fun. But yeah, we need
I need
to have,
that.
like,
I need
we
you
need a
and
good
Corvus.
like indie mix
Yeah,
up of me and
agree.
Corvus.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And just to kind of finish this out, Triple H goes for another pedigree, but it's countered, and Sweet Chin Music gets the 3, and then the confetti cannons just go crazy.
Yes, they flood.
That's what they have to do, and it's going to be tough because it's an outdoor stadium. That's what they have to do when Cody wins the title. Is
confetti everywhere?
Just shoot confetti in the air. Just have those cannons just shooting it all over the place.
I want to know like how much the
they should do a flyover with like those planes that drop the water on forest fires.
Yes.
Drop confetti on the crowd.
I want to know how much the venue and like stadium security and cleanup crew know about the show and shit like that, and they're just like, oh man, like the show's going on, crowd's making a mess, oh we got to clean all this shit up, and they're like, all right, finally this shit's over, send these fuckers out of here, and then those fucking confetti cannons go off and they just lose their shit. We're here 3 more fucking hours now, dude. Like, oh man, I'd quit. I'd quit if I were.
Honestly, if I owned a venue and I wanted to make sure that my stadium was cleaned properly, I would throw confetti everywhere. And then when that's just not clean, I'm like, you're fucking fired.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't fuck up at that point, man.
Yeah.
The other side of that is all those like venues, all those entertainment venues in New York City are union shops. Yeah, and they're gonna, that overtime's gonna kick in, and they're gonna make some money.
Oh, that's a dude. They make so much money. I knew my buddy of mine used to do cleanup crew at Susquehanna Bank Center in Camden, and that was an outdoor venue. So like people were smoking shit, like you could do whatever the fuck, drugs, anything in there. So he would always come hang out after his fucking cleanups, and the shit he would tell me he'd find. He's like, dude, money, drugs, lighters. The amount of lighters this kid collected up was insane. He had like 300 lighters. He just had a whole box because he would just keep finding.
Speaking of lighters, buy your Philly Mike Swanson lighter.
You do
there it is.
Plug. Hell yeah.
Online, links below.
Yes.
All right, so Sean wins this, closes this out. Overall, we'll start with you, Precious. What did you think?
If I'm not mistaken, real quick, that is the final like heavy world title that Sean ever won. I don't think he ever won another one.
And that was the big gold.
Yeah. And he and in an even more rare thing, he actually lost it in the ring the next month.
Yeah. He says, listen, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna win the title, but the only reason I want to lose a title because I have a little bit of a reputation and I have to lose to somebody.
Yeah. Well, at that point, Triple H had him beat politically, so he was gonna lose it.
Very true. Yeah, he's like, listen, I need to right my wrongs, and I need to lose a title. So if you're gonna put one on me, it's only because I need to lose it, and I need to do it the right way.
Yep.
What did you think, Precious, of this card?
I think that on a scale of 1 to 4, because 4 is very definitive and kind of tells it how it is, I would give this show a 4 out of 4. Between like mostly like the wrestling that went on like throughout the entire card from beginning to end was just fantastic to watch from beginning to end. But then also Jericho's gear that he comes down to is the gear that inspired the gear that should be delivered very shortly and should be here in time for next season.
Oh,
nice.
This show.
So the pants are gone, so officially the pants can be passed on to somebody.
Yeah. Unless I use them for like big matches kind of deal, like that would be my big match gear because I truly love wrestling.
Crispy needs pants, maybe.
But yeah, no, it has so many of my favorite wrestlers. It's a very nostalgic like show for me because I've watched it plenty of times throughout my whole life. So
that should be like another title for Sanctuary, the Golden Pants. Like you can win or lose the Golden Pants.
Yeah, trying to get a shirt from Philly Mike now that I have a job. Yeah, he'll bring it to the show, or you can order it online.
Yeah, I'll be there the 3rd. I'll be there March 3rd.
Hey,
Philly Mike, what did you think of this show?
It's it's enjoyable, chaotic. You could tell it was definitely designed around pops for the MSG crowd and shit like that, like Scott Steiner, fucking Sean winning, just the chaos of some of the matches.
Dudley Boys,
The
for sure.
shenanigans.
Exactly. It was straight up kicking it off like the Dudley Boys reunion. So they knew what they were doing as far as keeping the crowd entertained throughout the whole show. And the other thing that's important about the show is like they fit a lot into it, and it's not even 3 hours long. Like it's
paced very well.
The biggest issue with WWE
and they
shows,
fucking stupid music stuff, and still paced it very well.
the biggest issue with WWE shows these days is the pacing and the length of them all. Like there's just too much. Just keep flowing with it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Like I feel like it was a whole day after watching WWE in 2023. I feel like oh man, I'm so drained and shit like that. This was back when WWE pay-per-views left you wanting more, and you couldn't wait for Monday Night Raw and shit like that. You couldn't wait for that next show.
Brian, BP.
Yeah, a very fun show. It's a show that's very much of its time with some of the leftover attitude stuff. Like Mike's dead on. The pacing is so much fun. The match quality is really good. You don't have that one match. It's like maybe the three-way tag that's like, oh, this is one of the greatest matches ever, but everything is at the very least watchable. Like I'm trying to think, what's the worst match on this show? They're all good. Like there's not a bad match among them.
Yeah.
You have a lot of great characters. If I'm doing a scale of 1 to 10, this is like a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, this is one of the pay-per-views that when I got back into wrestling, it's the one I seeked out to go watch because it was Sean's return title win, and it was the first Elimination Chamber. So I was like, what's this Elimination Chamber about?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to say, Austin kind of talked about it a little bit, or Precious talked about it a little earlier on the show.
I don't know who Austin is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either. We kind of hit on it a little bit earlier. I couldn't imagine being a kid at that time and getting or wanting an elimination playset.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first playset, 100%.
Yeah.
And
the only problem
my
is
steel cages were milk crates.
How do you play in the elimination playset? Like, was there like a door you put your arms in?
I think there was one open side or something.
Yeah, the one side opened up, I think.
So, yeah, there was a side that opened, or you could play with the top off.
Got you.
Of all the wrestling shit I had, I never had the Elimination Chamber.
Because we were like 20s when it came.
like Brian said, I just made my own shit. Like I used to like making sets and stages with VHS tapes and shit like that. Like I thought that was cool. My favorite was when like Taboo Tuesday became a pay-per-view. I just made my laptop the fucking set and shit like that. And I was like, wait, I can like play their entrance. I can look up their entrance videos on YouTube and like play them as they walk out. How the fuck have I never thought of this? Like it was awesome.
Christian said, bring an XL. Yep.
You got it.
That was a great thing if like a wrestling album came out and it had when Pile Driver was out, you could sync up Pile Driver to the Demolition action figures. It was great.
Awesome.
Like, hit the button.
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck it. Oh fuck! It was already 3 seconds in. Play it back. Turn.
No, but I had everything. I had the Elimination Chamber. I had the Hell in the Cell. I had the Money in the Bank set. Like I was a toy fanatic for like throughout the entire.
Do you still have all your stuff?
No. Well, my sister, like very iconically, I remember this. Like it's ingrained into my brain. It was right before one of my birthday parties. I had it out on the living room floor, and way prior to me ever getting into wrestling, I was teaching her how to do a back roll before I even thought about it. I was like 12. And she back rolled onto the Hell in the Cell and broke it. Like everything snapped. And that was kind of it for me.
When I was playing, me and my buddies I was friends with these twins, and they had bunk beds. So we decided, let's do a triple threat match. Like let's just fight each other. And we hung their fucking belt from the ceiling fan. So we're fighting, blah, 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 and my buddy, he's climbing the fucking ladder, and I hook him, and I just, for some reason, thought it was a great idea. I just power bomb him right on top of their Hell in a Cell set and just like demolished it, like complete explosion. And they're just like, "What the fuck?" And
you're like, "But bro, it looked cool."
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, and I'm like going to climb and get the belt. They're like, "No, it's over. It's over."
That's the most Philly Mike thing of all time. Like, I'm glad things never
I was doing
changed.
Philly Mike shit before I was Philly Mike, basically. Yeah.
You're like, that was legit my toy. You're like, but bro, it looked fucking. There's no one to
Dude,
see it. But
I didn't see a table anywhere, so like you wanted to go to the floor?
No,
Like,
see, when we would play fight, like when we would wrestle when I was younger, we would get like a bunch of cardboard. And we
oh
would
yeah,
sit
that was the
on
best.
Yep.
Fresh
Cardboard.
cardboard, yo, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that's like mouth watering. What the fuck was I just gonna say? Oh, Heidi was fucking around on TikTok one night, and she sent me a video of somebody. I forget what the take was, but it was something, and Heidi sent it to me. I'm like, you know who just sent me? And she goes, no. I go, that's Austin. That's the Blackman's daughter. Like, and she like randomly came across one of her TikToks and sent, because she sends me TikToks, and I'm like, that's Jeff. That's his sister and their daughter.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Shout out Quesarito Lover on TikTok.
Yeah, she does a lot of pop culture stuff, like Jersey
does.
Shore and like pop culture reviews and stuff. And she has a big following.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
Reality TV, drag show, like competition series.
For
real-
how much he's into professional wrestling, she loves pop culture reality TV.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, she also grew up on pro wrestling too. So she's
Yeah.
always had like the entertainment and like larger than life. And reality TV is the same. Oh my god, reality
It's
TV.
very similar.
As Lance Storm once said, reality TV is the only thing that's faker than pro wrestling.
So that overall great show, guys. Before we get into our next little thing, and then we're gonna wrap up and get you out of here. We need ideas for next week. I don't know if you guys have anything. If you want to just start brainstorming or pitch some ideas, maybe we can leave it to the chat to maybe throw some stuff out, and we can make like a list of things. So eventually, with my Facebook funds, I hit like $89. So I'm pretty excited. Thank you everyone who's been supporting on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
With my $89, you can't see it, but this wall in front of my thing is a big white wall. I'm putting up two big, huge whiteboards. One's going to be like a calendar one. One's going to be like a normal whiteboard. And I'm just going to literally fill it with show ideas and write down stuff and like start
There you
prepping and getting like brainstorming ideas going. But yeah, we need to start brainstorming some future content for this and show ideas and topics. I know we were going to do the topic of Okada. And it took so long, we just kind of gave up on it. But like, yeah, the history of people, go back, review shows, start reviewing indie stuff. Like, I really want to start adding indie to our arsenal and talking about that. What's happening weekly in wrestling, we can throw that stuff in there. So once we're gonna have to kind of find a flow with each other and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll be fun. But before I get into so you guys kind of brainstorm that in the chat. If you guys have anything you want us to review or a wrestler you want to know the history of or just something in general, put it in the comments. But while you guys are going through that, let's talk about the Elimination Chamber. So if you on my link tree, go and stay on page. Don't close this out. Go to my link tree, and on there you're gonna see in one of the links, it's gonna say, join us at Pro Wrestling Scorecards. Join our faction ABJ podcast. If you click that link, you can sign up. It's completely free. You can download on your app, digital.prowrestlingscorecards, and sign up. You can play along, and whoever has the best predictions, you can. We're not going to go through the whole predictions or what does what here because we are running a little longer. But the pay-per-view is going to have Lashley versus Lesnar. We're getting a mixed tag, Edge and Phoenix versus the Judgment Day. We're getting the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah, we have the Elimination Men's match, which is going to be for the U.S. Championship. Austin Theory, Seth frickin' Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Montez Ford. That is low-key a really good Elimination Chamber. Like, that's everybody I would love to see in a chamber right there.
Yeah.
The Women's Elimination Chamber, which will be a number one contending match for the Women's Championship to find out who goes against Bianca. And that'll be Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya, and Carmella. And then we have the main match card predictions that are on there, unscheduled appearances and scheduled appearances. So kind of going through the card, we'll start with you, Philly Mike. What match on this card are you most excited for? And yeah, just we'll start with that. What match are you most excited for?
I mean, how can you not say Sammy and Roman? Like,
Yeah.
So obviously, usually it would be Elimination Chamber, one of those, but gotta say Sammy and Roman.
Does Sammy pull it off?
I also think I don't think we're gonna get all of Sammy and Roman as we think. I think this whole thing has been a slow burn. You think they're gonna pay it off at the Elimination Chamber? Like, I think there's gonna be it's gonna be a screwy finish, whether Sammy wins or Roman wins. And I didn't even think about it until they've kind of been now putting the idea into the air. But I do think this match is somehow becoming a triple threat at Mania. I think Sammy's gonna get involved, and it's after Elimination Chamber plays out, whatever happens, it's gonna be a triple threat.
Interesting.
Like somebody said, maybe Sammy wins, but I don't think.
I don't see Sammy winning.
I don't think Sammy. It's hard. It's hard to. Yeah.
I think the way that Sammy would get into this as a triple threat would be a screwy finish at the
exactly.
Yeah. And then you have him carry his own load on promos and get himself back.
Because my whole thing was this should have never been a title match, realistically. Like, why? Roman wants to fight Sammy, but why would he make it like? I get Sammy's like, oh, make it for the belt, but I think this match should have been non-title. Have Sammy pin Roman in some sort of screwy way. Have Jey Uso help, Kevin Owens help somebody, and that pisses Roman off even more. And now he's like,
I think Sammy gets a pin, but I don't think there's a ref there to count it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes,
he may get a visual win, but he's not going to win the match.
Yeah, that's so overdone. They're going to do the fake out win, like, no, like fucking.
I think Roman does what Roman has been doing, and he's going to make his opponent look like he's going to be the one to do it, and then at the very end, Roman wins, and the whole crowd just deflates and hates it and gets pissed.
I wouldn't mind.
And then they all jump Sammy at the end. Sammy's getting jumped. And then Jay runs out, and actually, we probably won't get the Usos there.
They can't be there.
They both can't be there. But you're gonna have Sammy and you're gonna have Roman and Solo just beating the shit out of Sammy.
So Owens is gonna be the screw job.
Kevin's is gonna save the day, and then they're gonna start setting up for Sammy and Kevin reunited and making a run for the titles.
See, the only part that confuses me is what's gonna get Jay and Sammy hating each other. Like
I think Sammy confided in Jay, and then Jay finally says, "No, blood's thicker than water."
I think everybody's really like focused on the whole Roman and Sammy part. I think the Jay and Sammy is way more
better
interesting.
Story.
That's way.
And I think after this pay-per-view is where that's going to start kicking in. But I'll tell you what, every single time I think I have this story figured out, they make it more interesting. It's honestly one of the best storylines in
and they're not doing
history.
Anything crazy or new or fucking elaborate.
Just executing properly.
Yeah, they're just letting it play out, man. They're letting these guys tell the story.
And they needed to get Cody. They're like, well, man, fuck, how do we get Cody just as popular of a storyline as a Sammy Roman? And Cody says, do me a favor, send me out to the ring with a microphone, because that's what I do. I'm a fucking Rhodes. Oh, also send Paul out with us, because that's how we'll make this fucking storyline the coolest thing ever. And in one night, everyone's like, oh, that's why we want Cody in the main event at WrestleMania, because of that.
Like the safest way I see it being booked is kind of like I said, turning it into that triple threat. Roman beats fucking Sammy at Elimination Chamber. It's a triple threat somehow at Mania. Cody pins Sammy. We keep protecting Roman. He loses the belts. Cody's on his mission now as champion. Roman's even more pissed. He's fucking him and Sammy going at it. Some point in there, Sammy gets his big win. Roman's even more pissed. Now he's killing his cousins and shit like that. It's the complete rip and end of the bloodline. Like,
yeah, I don't think the bloodline goes away right away. I think it's gonna be something you're gonna stay for a while.
The whole play out of the next year
I think that family
is gonna be him feuding with the bloodline.
Because I think
one by one.
Not only is the bloodline good for business, but I think the bloodline realizes the longer they can keep the bloodline story, the more they can get more bloodline in, and that bloodline can make money.
It'll be I would love to see them.
Dumb.
I would straight up love to see them do the Usos versus him and Solo. Roman and Solo teaming against the Usos would be fucking fire.
They literally set the tone for bloodline dude, Bloodline's carrying on. MLW's using the Bloodline right
Yep,
now, and 2
exactly.
Bloodline members are holding
It's
titles
always
there.
been it's always been a thing. It's just WWE never went full fledged with it. It was always a side act for WWE.
And that family is saying cha-ching
yeah.
everywhere in professional wrestling, as they should.
That's why you talk to the Samoans. They're like, "This is nothing new."
Like, they just now put it in story. We've been Bloodline the whole time.
Yeah, like
so. Is it time for me to rain on everybody's parade now?
Oh,
well,
I think it is.
I'm gonna say you. Oh, are you gonna talk about this match?
Yeah.
So I want everyone to pick a different match they're excited for, even if that's not the one they picked. Just kind of.
Well, this is the match I'm definitely the most excited for. But Roman's winning. Sammy's not going to be in the main event of WrestleMania.
No.
It looks like the reports are that the Usos will be able to make it to. They are going to let them in the Canada. They will be at the show. Jey Uso will cost Sami Zayn the match. There will be a 4-on-1 beatdown. Kevin Owens comes out to make the save. He gets beat down too. Jey Uso being the reason. Crispy has it in the chat too. Jey Uso being the reason Sammy loses. Blood is thicker than water. I'm sticking with my family. I'm sticking with the head of the table. That transitions the heat to him. So at WrestleMania, you get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the Usos. And then you have the guy who saves Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber, Cody Rhodes, as the conquering hero. They are not going to do anything to dilute the main event of WrestleMania being Cody Rhodes' coronation. You muddy the waters if you have another super over baby face in that match in Sami Zayn. So it's going to be a clear demarcation of Cody's getting paired off with Roman now. Kevin and Sami are getting paired off with the Usos. And the Bloodline is going to have a big fall. They've been dominating forever. New tag champs at WrestleMania, new champ at WrestleMania. But this is going to be the last hurrah of the Bloodline at Elimination Chamber.
They just said too that there's rumors that Tonga is now, I guess, out of Japan, and he made like a tweet.
Hikuleo won that match. He won the loser lose Japan match.
What's his name?
Tama
Tonga made a tweet saying like, if WWE comes knocking, I'm answering the door or something like that.
Well, who wouldn't? I mean, some people wouldn't, but if the price is right, he'll go.
Yeah. So Precious, besides the main event match and speculating, unless you have another speculation, I think we kind of covered that one. What's another match on this card that you're excited for?
I'll start with speculation and then
go ahead. I want to give everyone the opportunity to talk about that.
The only outside speculation I have is that Cody doesn't win at Mania, and that they continue.
He's winning. He's winning.
No, that they continue that story until SummerSlam.
I like Cody as a person. I think he's super entertaining in promos. I think his whole thing is great. The music even has the whoa, so the crowd can sing along. But I think Cody, when he wins that title, is going to be the most unbearable thing I ever wanted to watch. I fucking hate that style of babyface, and I'm going to hate Cody's run.
He's gonna shake so many hands and kiss so many babies. It's gonna be great.
Trust me, WWE knows that. They're gonna turn him soon after.
But listen, I am not the money that you want to make because I'm poor. You know what I mean? But like the people who spend money are the people who are going to eat that babyface champion.
I'll tell you what though. Mm-hmm. The men's elimination chamber, as we alluded to earlier, the amount of like crazy talent, like the smash of talent in that match should like set up for like a video game style elimination chamber, because WWE has really been pushing the envelope with match quality and like craziness in their matches. I think the spot between Logan Paul and Ricochet kind of is foreshadowing to the car crash that Elimination Chamber is about to be. I'm sure the
Montez Ford's gonna have a coming out party.
Oh yeah.
I think him and Bronson Reed are gonna have a coming out party.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Bronson's gonna be the guy that, like, throws everybody around, catches people on dives.
Bronson, unfortunately, is gonna be the first eliminated. They're gonna.
I think Bronson's gonna have a moment where you're like, I think he's gonna have a holy shit moment where you're like, this big guy did what?
Oh,
he's gonna put someone through a pod. Most.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, they're gonna do that.
I think your first eliminated is Gargano.
No, I think Gargano might be that workhorse of it.
Could be.
I think it's gonna be a good time.
Realistically, there's an argument for any single person in this chamber to walk out as champion, and I don't think anybody would be pissed about it.
I wouldn't be crazy about Damian Priest being the U.S. champion.
Damian
because it would
Priest
be
winning the
fun.
champion would be like, oh, people would start going, does Judgment Day start winning some titles here?
See, I'd actually be a little disappointed if Gargano won it. I love Johnny Gargano. I met Johnny Gargano. He gave me great advice. I think
Gargano comes out of this, and I think because Candice is doing this whole thing with Nikki Cross, I think Nikki Cross brings some people into wrestling. This is very soon, but maybe after Mania. And now it's Gargano and his crew, and I guess Gargano, Candice, and pretty much the Way without the Way. So you have Johnny and you have Dexter Loomis and Candice, and then Candice brings in Nikki Cross brings in 2 or 3 guys who starts because they like doing these mixed gender stable things in WWE that's becoming really popular. And
you can't bring in Eric Young because he's dead.
Well, he's dead in Impact.
He got shanked by Cody Deaner. He's dead.
But they would need that third guy to be like, oh, we're unmatched. We don't have enough firepower in the guy side of things. There's 3 of them and 2 of us, and then you have the returning Ciampa, and then essentially start fading out Dexter, and now you have the tag team that we want.
So wait, a complete different option. I totally forgot about Ciampa.
Mm-hmm.
Gargano wins the chamber, and then same thing as like the end of Takeover.
Oh, yeah. Listen, you can rewatch that storyline as much as you possibly can, and I'll watch it every time. You give me Ciampa and Gargano, I don't care if you do a spot-for-spot recreation of every single match they did in NXT. I'll eat it up every time.
Yep.
Same with Sammy and Kevin. Sammy and Kevin can go out and do a spot-for-spot match, the same exact match, every single week on TV, and I'll watch it every time.
Yeah, they'll always do that hockey fight to start, always.
Yeah, because the chemistry between those 2 people when they work together.
It's literally called the Sammy and Kevin spot. Like when people are working at, Sammy and Kevin. Okay.
Yep. It's so good, so good. But yeah,
the women's chamber should be fun too.
Yeah. So who do you think Austin Theory retains in this chamber?
I think he does.
Yeah.
Seth doesn't need a title. He's going to be with Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Gargano isn't really in a position for the title. Damian Priest doesn't need it. Bronson Reed doesn't really need it. Montez Ford, it's a little too early. I think Theory keeps it.
I think if Theory doesn't keep it, Bronson Reed's getting it.
I would love that.
It would be.
I would love that.
See, I don't know. I like Bronson Reed, but I'm not into him. I'm not invested.
This would be.
I'm invested just because of how great of a fucking human being he is.
Like his splash is fucking the most believable splash in the whole company, obviously, because he's killing you.
I love his facial expressions.
But
I love it.
I don't know. What else? What else?
Just be a big man, athletic, fucking scary big man.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's one of my favorite big men in the company.
He never did it for me on the Indies in Japan. I always got
his NXT's run was good too.
I always get I understood it, but it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I like him. I'm a fan. All right, Brian, your pick for a match on this card.
Let's talk about the women's chamber a little bit, just because I think we're finally going to get to see this new incarnation of Asuka that's kind of half Asuka, half Kana. Is really going to take hold of that, and that's my pick to win it.
So you're thinking Asuka makes another run at the title?
I think Asuka beats Belair for the title. It's time for Bianca to chase.
I thought Asuka was going to take the Rumble. Once she came out with the Kana look, I was like, oh shit, that was a whole new pick in mind, but they didn't pull the trigger.
What was the right call? I think Ripley versus Charlotte at Mania is going to be legendary.
You could have took Rhea Ripley to a title match at WrestleMania without making her the fucking Royal Rumble winner. That's sick.
They told clear stories in previous Rumbles that Rhea was the next one up.
Yeah,
that's sick.
She was the final one with Bianca that 1 year, and then
that sick return from Asuka. Final 2, Asuka and Rhea. Crowds, holy shit! Rhea might have met her match. Fucking Rhea gets that fucking hip fucking shot off the fucking apron. Bam, dude, that pop would have been sick.
Or they're doing that whole thing with Liv and Rhea that they did do, where they're number 1 and number 2. You kind of forget Asuka's even in the match. She might be an afterthought or something.
What pissed me off is they did the number 1 and number 2 shit in both fucking Rumbles this year. Cody
was number 30.
No, but I'm saying who was number. Gunther and who else? Who came out number 2 with him? Oh, Sheamus. Sheamus was in there for fucking ever.
He was.
They I like when they do that emphasize on like one match. Like
I do I agree with that. I think next year's Rumble, I think who 1 and
It
2 are
made-
should be out. Throw them out right away.
it made
Immediately
Liv
shake it up.
and it made Liv and Rhea being at the end feel a little less for me. Like, all
Yeah.
right, we just got that
Yeah,
with
it's-
Gunther and Sheamus almost made it. Like he made it far, but
Yeah. The only thing I
Like-
think that makes sense with the women's is, and then this is my thought process with it, is you're gonna see recycled stuff in the women's rumbles that we've seen in the men's for how many years because the women's is still new. The women's needed to have that first ever win from one spot, and I think Rhea's a good person to put that mantle on.
and that was the reason they did it too. Just, I don't know.
So I agree, and I would love Asuka to be the one to win that title. But I have my dark horse winner who I would pick as winning it, but I think your safe bet pick would be Asuka to win it all. But I don't hate a returning Carmella coming in and making a run for the.
Do you
women's
really
title.
buy Carmella? Because I would be
do.
fine with
I
that
do.
if
I am a Carmella fan.
I would
like
be
Carmella.
fine. And that's fine. I would be okay with that if this match wasn't for a shot at Bianca at WrestleMania. I don't see Carmella in a singles match for a women's title at WrestleMania.
Yeah. As much as I love Carmella, I don't see her winning the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. The only other
Like-
thing that I want for Carmella that I probably won't get is I want Carmella to feud and then possibly team with Chelsea Green.
Well, I mean, she did win the first ever women's Money in the Bank.
Yes.
What's stopping her from?
But that is kind of built for a Weasley heel to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's stopping her from being the last entrant to the Elimination Chamber and just pinning someone?
Yeah, I like
The fact
Mella.
that she would then go on to a main event of or a feature match at WrestleMania. That's what's stopping her.
I don't hate her in the ring. I like her.
She's good. She's great character wise. She's
Great
not at the
super kick.
level. She's not at the level of an Asuka. She's not at the level of a Bianca Belair.
Yeah,
She's
if I was going to say
there.
that Bianca's not losing anytime soon, then I would say, yeah, Carmella goes in there and she's an easy win for Bianca to continue on. But I do agree that Bianca is done after Mania, and I think Bianca.
If it was for a title shot at Money in the Bank, if it was for a title shot at the Survivor Series, fine. But it's for a title shot at WrestleMania.
Totally agree. But I'm just saying I wouldn't hate Carmella, but every reason that you're saying is the reason I would say and put my money on Asuka. All right. I'm going to pick for you. Does anyone else have anything else at the Women's Chamber they want to throw out there?
Nope.
All right. So then I will take, I'll go with Lashley Lesnar. I think this is the match that normally I don't care about because I think a lot of times when this match was thrown at us, every time we get these big guy matches where it's insert Goldberg, insert Brock, insert Bobby Lashley, insert Braun Strowman, there's a world title involved. And it takes it away because we don't need the fucking title to have this megastar match.
Yeah.
And we're going to get that match and there's no title involved. So they can go out and just put on a match and have fun. And this new incarnation of Lesnar where he's not working a 16-minute match. And I think with no title implication, I think it changes the dynamic of this match. And I think they kill it.
Yep.
I don't think this is a span finish normal big guy that we've been getting the past 4 years match between these two. I think they go out and they put a slugfest on.
I was about to say, if they start this match with like a lockup and chain wrestling,
it's a possible. I think this can turn into like a worked MMA fight. Like I think they can turn it into that and do some mat wrestling and chain wrestling and striking and not just spear, F5, and then we get out of there and it's a boring ass fucking match.
I could see them telling a story with a lot of transitions of submissions and the ropes being the break in them, and then like they set up those two again at Mania, but in like a fight.
That would be the only thing. I think there's going to be maybe of a disappointment or bad taste in your mouth that you want more.
Yeah,
because we're going to want them again at Mania.
You're only going to get half of this at Elimination Chamber. It's gonna be it'll be something screwy, or like you said, I could see a straight up a submission match or something between them at fucking Mania. That'd be cool, like an underground match.
I would even say exactly that fucking cage with the platform on top, the no rope cage.
Oh shit!
The fight pit. I can see them putting those two in a fight pit. That's
Lesnar
jumping out with MMA gloves on. Like I would fucking lean into it.
Yeah. I can see them doing that
because that's what's been talked about forever. Is like, because Lashley went and had an MMA career, Lesnar went and had an MMA career, and then they're both here, and you can't do MMA, but you can kind of figure out a way to do it. And I think that'd be a fun way to do it, is you put them in the fight pit.
Or they really get their money's worth with this elimination chamber. And let's say the men's one goes on first. As soon as the men's one is over, or regardless of whichever one comes first, as soon as it's over, Brock is already in the ring and says, keep the cage down. Bobby, get out here.
Yeah. Just destroys everything.
I don't know. I think that's going to be a sleeper, but I do agree with you, Philly Mike, is I don't think we're going to get the full incarnation of it.
There's no way.
I think this leads to like, oh, we want more of this.
If this wraps at fucking Elimination Chamber, I'll be shocked.
Yeah. I think they have a really good opportunity with it.
The only other thing I could see happening is they add somebody into the mix. Like there's going to be another big man reeled into this somehow. And fucking like Omos or some shit. Like who the fuck?
No, keep all that away.
That's what I'm saying.
Hurt Business looks like it's starting to form, but I don't know if the Hurt Business is forming with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do it without him. They're gonna add on some other members. It looks like.
I think the Hurt Business could be a reason why Lesnar and him don't have, or you know what I mean, like where you know what I mean, like, and Lashley then after Lesnar goes after the Hurt Business.
Exactly. Omos will be part of the new Hurt Business for sure. And it'll be good because it'll protect that motherfucker too. Just have him stand there and look intimidating, collect a paycheck. He doesn't need a wrestle.
I didn't hate Omos versus Braun Strowman. I don't think it was an awful match. I thought it was a good big guy match.
It wasn't terrible, but like I don't know.
Anything else, Precious? With anybody else have anything with the Lesnar Lashley?
Should be fun. The Brock has his match now, and it's always pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
All right, that pretty much wraps up Elimination Chamber for this year. That wraps up Survivor Series. The only one in the chat that we had kind of pitched to us was No Mercy 2006. Was his very first pay-per-view to see live. Super underrated card. No one ever talks about it. I have nothing but nostalgia for it, and I would love to hear someone else's thoughts.
I have no idea what was on that show. I'm gonna look, see what.
That'd be like a John Cena.
Oh no! Is that like the one with the Iron Man? First of all, I hate Iron Man matches. I hate Iron Man matches. Looking forward to.
I am so dreading the Danielson and MJF match, only because I know how long their pay-per-views already are.
An Iron Man match and an AEW show. It's gonna have 45 matches anyway,
and then they're gonna end the fucking show with an hour-long match that'll probably have a screwy finish that goes like 15 more minutes. And like,
No Mercy 2006 had in a dark match Jimmy Wang Yang versus Sullivan.
Sylvan
Hardy. Oh, Sylvan. Sorry, I didn't know who. I didn't watch it this time. Matt Hardy defeats Gregory Helms.
Probably.
Kendrick and Paul London take on Casey James and Idol Stevens.
Yes.
Damian Sandow. I almost said Damian Demento. Completely different person.
Damian Sandow.
Porter takes on Garner.
MVP.
Kennedy versus Taker. Mysterio versus Chavo. Benoit versus Regal in a submission.
Wait, is that
match.
the Mysterio Chavo I Quit match?
No, it's
right?
Falls count anywhere.
And then the final match is Booker, Bobby Lashley, Batista, and Finley for the world title.
That's an interesting. Okay, this sounds like a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They were doing like. I think there was talk at this point of possibly putting the title on Finley. They didn't pull the trigger, but I think it was bandied about. But King Booker was anything with King Booker, I'm in. King Booker was a great character.
Dude, so good.
So you want to add that? You want that to be next week? Oh, No Mercy 06?
Either that or if you want to.
I kind of want to see Benoit and Regal in the submission.
They had a match on Velocity once when Court Bauer was booking Velocity, where they have their knuckles locked. They're in a test to see if their knuckles are locked together, and they just start headbutting each other, and one of them starts to bleed. And they didn't cut themselves because their hands are stuck together. They just headbutted each other open.
On Velocity.
On Velocity.
It kind of there's been speculation that maybe Regal wasn't the biggest Benoit fan.
Well, maybe he had it right. Maybe he's a good judge of character.
It's not that he wasn't a fan. It's that he saw the writing on the wall, kind of that something was wrong. Something wasn't all there with Chris.
Well,
kind of.
people Well, people don't want to bring this up, but there are people backstage who realized what their relationship was, and it wasn't all rainbows and peaches. And some people weren't a fan of the way maybe Benoit was treating women or Nancy at the time. You know what I mean? And Regal supposedly Regal didn't live too far away from where Benoit and Nancy lived.
Yeah, they all lived in Atlanta. Yeah,
and supposedly Regal had inside information about what was going on behind closed doors that a lot of people weren't talking about with Nancy and.
Yeah, he would hear shit from locals in the area and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think it was Regal said his wife never got a good vibe from them and anything going on over there.
Yeah.
But
and
this is the show where Regal accidentally shows off his little Regal.
Oh, we got a penis spot.
Yes.
That's great. All right.
It's probably edited out on Peacock, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Although I haven't checked Starcade 86, you might still be able to see Nikita Koloff's Russian sickle in Starcade 86.
And the referee puts it back in for him.
Tommy Young just swoops in, whoop, because Flair gives Nikita a vertical suplex.
What would you do, Mike or Precious, if you took a suplex in a match and your ween falls out and the referee just comes over and puts it back for you?
Dude, I'd be so happy. I'd be happy as hell. I'd be like, bro, thank you. That's
essentially what happened in this match.
Yeah.
The referee grabbed it.
Tommy Young slides in
and tucked it back in for him.
Dude, that's so good.
That's why Tommy Young's the best referee there ever was.
Does anyone else have any pitches for?
I would love to do something Memphis related, maybe not a show review, just to kind of commemorate the Jerry Jarrett thing. Memphis is an endlessly entertaining territory.
I'm a fan of that. I mean, No Mercy's on the list. Like, it might not happen next week, but we are going to do that pay-per-view at some point. But I like the Memphis idea. Do you want to? What about a Jerry Jarrett?
Yeah, I would love that. That's my wheelhouse. That is one of the most and it's kind of sad because Bruce Pritchard made him seem like this buffoon, this kind of like idiot with the potato salad thing and Jerry Jarrett is one of the greatest wrestling promoters that ever lived.
And here's the deal. And this is not just saying, oh, he passed away, so we're going to cash in on it. We're doing it because for me, generally, and probably for a lot of people listening, maybe there's not a lot of history of Jerry Jarrett that people actually know of. And if I'm going to be putting my stock in someone to tell me that story and for someone to tell me the history of something, Brian's the guy to do it. Yeah, so it's not like...
we've talked about some stuff adjacent to it. The early days of Memphis before Jerry was the promoter was Sputnik Monroe. We've talked about a few things like that.
By the way, did you listen to the Angel Metro interview?
To it. I heard that shout out. That
Angel,
was cool.
I said to Angel, who is someone you would have loved to tag team with or wrestle with? And she literally said, not many people know this guy, but I'm a big fan of Sputnik Monroe. And I said, dude, we did a whole episode on him of how he desegregated wrestling and like he was a dope ass dude.
It was the only Black History Month episode we ever did about a white guy.
We did.
Yes.
We did. Yeah. We did Sputnik Monroe during Black History Month. Yeah. So we did because he was a fucking ally and a half. Also maybe let's do that. Jerry as the topic, and then we have another at some point this month. We should definitely do.
This month's almost over. So
yeah, this month is almost over.
We're flying.
Yeah, next week will be the history of Jerry Jarrett. Unless you want to do something Black History related to end the month.
I think we'll be okay with Jerry Jarrett. We can talk about some things they did, like there was a very it wasn't like super race conscious, but they had the Snowman, who was a local wrestler who did a big thing with Jerry Lawler.
Yeah,
we'll work it in.
Cool. Jerry Jarrett. So next week will be the history of Jerry Jarrett.
We can talk about Coco Beware or just Coco Ware there. He was a big part of Memphis at the time.
Philly, do you have any topic ideas for the future that you would like to tackle?
Trying to think. I'll probably shoot you some ideas when they come to me. But
by the way, everybody's homework assignment: look up on YouTube Coco Beware versus the Patriot. And it's not the Patriot that's around now, and it's not the Patriot that was around in the 90s. It's just this guy, this enhancement guy for Memphis. And I don't know what happened in the back, but Coco Beware beats the piss out of this guy. Just beats the ever-loving hell out of this guy. Like, just shot after shot after shot. And then Coco's finisher is the Brainbuster. And the softest, safest Brainbuster you've ever seen in your life, because he could really hurt a guy with that move. And that is done like a complete pro, gets the 3 count, just punches the guy in the head one more time after the 3. It is incredible. Coco Beware versus the Patriot.
Hell yeah.
All right. Precious, any topic ideas you want to cover?
Professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Good call, but a
Nice
certain
one.
topic or something you want to cover? A person, a place, a thing? An indie show?
Unless we did something around the lines of like the safest and the friendliest wrestlers to ever grace the squared circle.
Wrestling good guys.
Yeah.
Like good personalities in
We
professional
already did
wrestling?
a show about Jimmy Hart.
How the New Day is like very committed to the power of positivity. John Cena, hustle, loyalty, respect. Hulk Hogan, eat your prayers, say your vitamins.
Mick Foley. Like, just people in wrestling that no one has a bad word to say about.
No, I'm saying no, not that. I'm saying characters that their presentation is fully good.
Okay. I get what you're saying now. I get what you're
The
saying.
good side or the light side of the ring, but not like outside of the ring, the actual in
It's
ring.
always sunny in professional wrestling. That'd be the name of the episode.
There you go.
I like that.
Santino's presentation in ring outside of like Santina. That seems like a good humored kind of wrestler.
Hell yeah.
All right. I like that. Positive
I dig it.
wrestling characters.
I like
And then really negative wrestling characters the week after. You have to do a yin and yang.
Most negative
I like it.
professional wrestlers.
commitment
like
to the dirtiest, yes, scummiest.
All right, we got some cool
negativity in
ideas.
professional
Hell yeah.
wrestling. Come on. Michael
Never
Hayes
s-
is going to be a big one for that one.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this this 4-man booth. I think this is going to be something you'll see a lot of. Thank you for people in the chat who have put in some feedback, especially Kai, the only one. So we do have some cool things. Next week will be the history of Jerry Jarrett. If you guys are listening back later on and or the replay of this, and you want more ideas that you have in your mind, put them in the comment section or shoot us a DM or comments on the social media. You can find me on all social media, Anthony Blackwell Jr. or A Blackwell Jr. or ABJ. Just search it up. You can find Brian. I'll kind of give him his plug, but his own podcast, Murder My Dude.
Yes. Our latest episode, we do them every other week. Last week we did the Green River Killer. Next week, it isn't locked down, but next Friday, I think we're doing the Anthrax murders from the 2002.
Yeah. Wasn't a lot of that blamed on the Unabomber at first?
Well, he was in jail already, so no. That was the Tylenol murders. We did that about a month ago.
That's right.
A lot of people thought it was terrorism, but it most likely wasn't.
Yeah. Philly Mike, where can people find you?
At Philly Mike Swanson on Instagram, at Philly Swanson on Twitter. Philly Mike Swanson, look me up. It's pretty easy to find, pretty easy to remember, I guess. Or Philly Mikeadelphia, whatever you want to search up. I don't know. Changing it every day, it seems. But I'm doing a lot of sitting at home, doing nothing, guys. So hit me up. I got shirts. I got lighters, as ABJ showed earlier. And yeah. We're vibing. We're chilling. We're hanging out in 2023, guys. We're not hustling like last year. We're not grinding. We're sitting back watching. We're observing.
Yeah, and I'm hearing rumblings. If you want to watch an indie wrestling show and you want someone to watch and comment and them commentate the match while it's going on, Philly Mike's the guy to sit next to.
You want brutally honest feedback.
Yeah. Precious, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at PreciousRR_. And then you can find me on like everything else as like this is Precious or Precious. I honestly don't know at the moment. I should keep track of that.
Do me a favor in the group chats. They're not going to be in the links description this week, but definitely send me or make a link tree like Murder My Dude. Make a Murder My Dude link tree, Brian. I know how much you hate doing side stuff, but
you have to actually do work. Man,
make a link tree and put all your stuff in one spot. Philly Mike already has one. I don't know if you have one yet, Precious, but give me your link trees and I'm going to start putting them in the comments below so people can just go to one spot and find all your stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah. Or you can just go to projecthumanoid.com for Brian.
Yeah, that's reminded. It's projecthumanoid.com. I'll do something.
And then Precious, just send me your link tree, and I'll definitely make sure I put it in the links below. Also, too, if you want, come over, hang out with us on the Discord. We're always talking wrestling. A lot of people clamoring for BP to be in the Discord. That's a very heavily requested thing, is BP in the Discord.
I'm too old for Discord. I'm an old man. Stop it.
We have RSP, we need BP.
Discord sounds like an old word, though. Like, I don't know.
It's fun. I definitely, Philly Mike, you should join the Discord. It's a good time, and you guys can join the Discord in my link tree as well. There's a join the Discord button. But thank you guys so much for the people who liked, the new subscribers today. We are on that quest. I'm not really pushing likes and subscribes anymore, man. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I said, all that stuff. It's been really cool in the past since October that we hit 500 and we're closing in on 6. But I'm not stressing it, man. I'm just here to have fun and talk wrestling and make fun content. And if people seem to like it, then cool. That whole, I don't know. I'm just attacking this in a different way, and a lot of it's going to be like how Austin's pitch was, just positivity and just having a good time.
Who was Austin?
Oh, Precious. Sorry, Austin's dead. He died.
This is why Tony always will.
This is why I don't ever want to learn your real names in professional wrestling.
You learn my name before you learn.
I know that's why I'm fucking up. I hate when wrestlers like, dude, stop calling me that. We're like, there's no one around. I'm like, I'm still doing it. I don't give a fuck.
In the car when we're going to shows, and I'm with Tony and Mike and Riley Crow. He will call Riley Crow Riley.
Oh, yeah.
And not a real name every time.
That was one thing with me. I had to keep Mike. Like when I was coming up with a gimmick name, I had to keep Mike because there was no way I would ever get used to respond to.
I called Kit in a car, and he looks and goes, "Why the fuck are you calling me Kit?" I said, "Because I can't put the two aside, especially on commentary. I'll fuck up."
Yeah, I'd rather be at a show and hear Mike and like 10 of us look because there's so many mics at every goddamn show.
Yeah.
But I had to keep the mic part.
Oh, we do have a Philly Mike emoji in the chat in our Discord.
Yes, I've seen. I love it.
It's literally the Philly Mike flipping off. It's a sticker that you could put in the chat as an emoji. It's perfect.
A little bit of back. Yeah, I had a benefit show for me and Adina Steele. They bring us out. They announced that the generous, the great crowd that came tonight and donated their money.
It was the most
effort.
You guys were so awkward being put on display up there, and you're like,
it was like all the wrestlers came out. You know, it was a cool moment. You know, of acknowledgement and thank you and all that. And the promoter of the event announces they raised $777 for each of us, and like gives us the envelopes. You know, shook his hand, hugged, the very awkward hug. But
the referee grabbed Adina's injured arm and put it above her head.
It was awesome. It was a very wholesome moment. And it was so wholesome that I just felt like the sudden urge and it was like a tick, like a Tourette's tick in me that I just was like, wait, what is this? So I just flipped off the crowd, and Anthony Fazio, being the greatest wrestling fan ever, just happened to snap it perfectly, and it's been spreading like wildfire. I love it. It's awesome. So thank you, Mayfield, PA wrestling crowd of the Falcons Nest for giving me your hard-earned money, and well, fuck you in the process. Thank you.
One of the great things before that
photo is going to be the future of Philly Mike. That is going to be like when you see Philly Mike, it's going to be.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I've had there's little kids that come up to me and they're only allowed to take pictures with me with the middle finger. Like their mom will tell them, all right, this is your Philly Mike picture.
Right now, yeah.
Yes, your Philly Mike picture. And it's funny because
children, when children come to wrestling shows, their parents say, okay, this is the match where you can curse, and this is the match that you can flip off the crowd. You can flip off the wrestler.
Yeah, and I never did it to make it a thing. It was never like I'm gonna flip people off. It was just like, haha, like I'm a heel, I'm flipping you off, I don't know. My dad gets on me about it. He hates it. He's like, stop you don't need to do the middle finger thing. Blah, blah, blah. You still doing the middle finger thing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still doing the middle finger thing. It's over as fuck for some reason. And then
MJF is helping that a lot.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. When people try to indie promoters are gonna try to tell me listen, we're family friendly, don't curse, don't do the middle finger. Listen to me. Austin flipped the bird on national TV every goddamn week. If Austin could do it and made millions of dollars from it, I think I'm gonna throw up the middle finger. Okay, it's like,
and it's not like you're forcing it. That's genuinely like what you would do as a person
that's
or
a
a
thing.
character.
Yeah, I'm not the whole match. Ha ha
You're
ha, ha.
Philly. You're
Like,
Philly Mike Swanson. No
Dude.
one likes us, and we don't care. Like,
bro, it's I look. People say they're the next day ECW, but at the same time,
dude,
we're
Adina just put a picture
family-friendly.
of Kit Raff putting together a Raw's ring war, and it's the most wholesome thing I've ever seen in
Dude.
my life.
Dude, I love it.
Another highlight, if it ever
Right.
receives the light of day, is me, Tony, and Adina calling the 50-50 draw. We commentated the 50-50. That was a lot of fun.
I hope that makes the tape.
Yo,
Because we just left the commentary recording and the 50-50, and we were Dude, first off, if you don't book Drunk Adina Steel as your commentary team,
yes.
Yes.
I was so happy you guys waited until the main event to drag her on there.
I felt bad for Hawthorne.
She was
'cause Hawthorne
drinking
was like,
all night, and I'm like,
Hawthorne was like,
yes.
he was so set because you and Hawthorne had worked out a deal like you do too, I do too. Like you guys were
Yeah.
switching on commentary.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Hawthorne. With the main event, I want to have Adina here, and he's just, no, please do. She's hammered.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Because
She
I
sits
knew
down and goes, "What's up, bitches?"
Yeah. Like when I got off from my first couple matches, I knew it. I was like, I don't think she'll get on. But then I was like, wait, if she drinks enough, she'll definitely get on. So then I'm watching as the night's going on. Like me and Hawthorne were kind of the only ones hopping back and forth.
Fun
And
fact,
then,
there may
yeah.
have been another opportunity where Adina did commentary with me, and she was not wrestling that night and had a couple drinks. So that's not the first time I've done buzz
Yes.
commentary
I
with
love
Adina
it.
Steele. Yeah.
Dude, it was the perfect kind of show too, to just fucking sit there and talk.
I really hope that they listen back, they don't get upset by commentary on that show, because we were loosey goosey, man. We were just
Yeah,
having fun.
it was like doing commentary at the Sanctuary. It was very laid back.
You want to know what I told Uncle Masty? This gives you an explanation and simple rundown of the show. The main event, the two workers of the main event, I ain't gonna call them out by name, worked the entire fucking match with their back to the hard cam. So that's all you need to know about that. Like we were saying whatever the hell we wanted on like, dude, come on now. And like one of this guy's a vet and the other guy's booking the show, and y'all didn't face the hard cam the whole fucking match. So that's
this is why Philly Mike is awesome when you put him in front of a live microphone and a camera.
Kat put up all the pictures. She takes all the pictures. I'm scrolling through the pictures. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I'm like, you gotta do. This is your main event. Like, holy.
It was a good
shit.
match, though. One thing I
It was a great match.
Yeah,
it's gonna look shitty on camera because all they had was a hard cam.
Yeah.
They had two. They won by the entrance too. Yeah.
Did they?
Like,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Fucking.
I will say this: I want to give props to the high ground students, because going into that, we kind of talked and we're like, "This is a big night for a lot of these students," because
they were putting a lot of big.
They put them against a lot of
matches.
veterans, and I thought every single student did their job that night. I thought they did really, really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Straight up, I said it on the drive home. I said all the high ground, backbreaker, whatever you want to call them, all those students stepped up, man. They stepped up big time. They were the highlights of the whole show, you know.
Agreed. They did.
The dude was so much
job.
fun. Donnie Bambino did great.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The POP did great. Damon Dante was in a really good match there. It was a lot of fun.
Dan Styles, Mike Skyros, like Masty, Hawthorne. You know what you're getting with those guys and stuff like that. It's guaranteed. But all those motherfuckers, they stepped up, man.
Yeah, they did a great job. Also, real quick, if you want to check out future content, ABJ podcast next week will be the Welcome Back Boys are coming to hang out, talk some chop with these guys. Love this podcast to death. Definitely check them out. Then one of the people that we said had a good night, Shelby Waters, and then we're end of the night. Hopefully with Drunk Adina. We don't know how it's going to go on the podcast, but we're going to have Adina on the steel to end the night.
You should definitely convince her to get fucking drunk as hell before getting on the podcast.
That'd be great.
Drunk off of apple juice, right?
Yeah,
of course, yes.
Of course.
I would say come hang out with me this Saturday, but this show is sold out in Nutley, New Jersey. But the next week you can come hang out with me. I'll be at Zero Gravity SSW. Philly Mike and Riley Crow will be in attendance, so you can come buy some merch off them. Coming up again this in March will be Uncle Massey's 40th birthday party. More ways to support Adina and Mike in their recovery journey.
And I believe the night before that, March 4th, there will be March 3rd, Friday, March 3rd will be a Sanctuary First Friday.
Yes.
Friday.
Yep. And then again in March, you can come hang out at High Tension's Spring Break 93. We will be in attendance earlier that day at Icons selling some tickets, and then you can leave the con, head over and see this show, and still have plenty of time to walk back from this show to Icons and check out their show later on that night.
I don't know if you want to walk. It's a little. You might want to drive that one. That's a little bit of a walk.
It's only like 3 or 4 blocks.
Yeah, we walked. I mean, when we were there for trios, distance. I'll tell you, Brian, it's perfect, man.
Oh,
you
nice.
Can walk it. Yeah, nice. If it's a nice day, you can walk it for sure. Yeah, it's a and I may or may not have talked to the Kilowatt earlier today and talked them into getting a table for Icons.
Yep.
And I told him, I said, "Yo, let's split a table, brother. Let's get in there." And I think
so. The table may or may not be myself and Brian selling tickets and putting over High Tension.
Yep.
Philly Mike on one side of us, and maybe a High Tension champion on the other side.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be stacked from what I hear, and so we're going to be there. And some people don't want to step on toes, but Philly Mike will be there, so we'll step on toes. We're gonna promote the fuck out of.
Well, no, what we are gonna do is we're gonna sell it here as High Tension and Icons. This is a way to enjoy what you're gonna enjoy Mania weekend in a small taste right there that day, because you're gonna have 2 shows that you can bounce back and forth. And there's enough room for everybody, and it's only helping each other out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because look, guys, the Icons ends at like 3 or something, but everybody pieces out around 1. So you see it starting to get empty. Roll out of there, go get some food on the literally.
And they sell food at Icons. So if you don't eat in the morning at Icons, they sell a full food. You could eat again later on that night because they have an open bar and kitchen at the Icons that you could eat there. And so you're giving money for food and drink there. You can walk a couple blocks, enjoy a wrestling show, and go back and see another one. It's an awesome day.
They sell food at the ECW arena, guys. But if you want good food, on the walk from the 2300 arena, John's roast pork. You got Boston Market even. I'll put over Boston Market any day of the week. I don't care. But you got a bunch of good eats.
If
you're one of those Wawa lovers, you can stop at the worst Wawa in all of Philadelphia, right down the street. See, Brian knows. It's literally, I call it the literal worst Wawa in all of Philadelphia. You're gonna go in there, half of their coolers are gonna be empty, half of their food selection's gone. But it's awesome because
if there's anybody in the world who, when I'm driving to or from a show or on the way, and he's like, "Yo, you're on the interstate right now. If you take this exit, make a left, there's a fucking Turkey Hill there. Best chicken I've ever had in my life." He knows every gas station in the world's fucking menu and if they're good or not.
Straight up, you have to. I say, if you've dedicated your life to being on the road, you gotta just know. You gotta start picking it up. You gotta know this shit.
That might be part of my vlog if we're together. Like, it's the dives, dollars, and dives, doves, or whatever the fuck the show's called. But just Philly Mike's reviewing gas station food. That's just what we're gonna
straight
do.
up.
I will double down on what Mike said about John's roast pork, though. That's a can't miss.
Yes, exactly. It's literally on the walk there, guys. And then you hit up the High Tension show. You'll make it there just in time. Enjoy that show. It'll be over perfect for you to walk on back, get more food if you're still fucking hungry, because who knows. And then you see that Battleground joint right down back at the ECW arena.
And the people they're bringing in so far for the con is really good. I think both Dudley boys, a lot of big names. It's going to be really fun. Dude, just get your pre-Mania workout now, because this is how you're going to experience Philly that day, is just bouncing from wrestling shows. So we're going to give you a taste of that in March.
Just to see who is on their schedule now for Icons. Team 3D, Jake the Snake, FTR, the Mountie, that's a big one. The Nasty Boys, Camille Brickhouse is going to be there.
I think they just announced the $1 Million Man as well.
Yes, I saw
that.
Nice. He'll be there with Virgil.
Speaking of
you can get Virgil and the $1 Million Man to sign your $1 million championship.
Yeah.
The Steiner brothers, that's cool. That's super cool. The Steiner brothers, John Morrison, Shane Douglas, and Francine, Jerry Lawler, Virgil will be there. Jimmy Hart, nicest man in wrestling. Lex Luger, Teddy Long, Tony Nese, another super cool guy. Brian Kendrick. Harry Smith, Sean Spears is going to be there. Lots of
funny there. The one time I had a table set up at Icons, I set up all my stuff. I show up and they tell me, Yeah. Find an empty table. I said, is there anywhere specific I should set up? They say, find an empty table. Go set up. You're set. I'm like, all right, bet. Find this table right by the front door. Second people walk in, I'm right there. I'm like, hell yeah, why not? So I'm all set up. Table's nice, looking good. Till this motherfucker decides to walk up to me and say, you got to move. I'm like, why? He says, so it's a reserved table. I'm like, yeah, you told me if there wasn't a paper on a table, it's fine. I'm trying to negotiate with him. He says, it's Bubba's table. I'm like, all right, sir, I'll get packed up in a second. I'll move it right. There'll be no problem. And then we just thankfully was able to pick up the whole table and just move it instead of fucking scurrying everything.
That's good.
But yeah, I wasn't going to piss off fucking Bully Ray in the ECW.
No,
I'm not a fan of Bully Ray, but I also
Definitely
wouldn't want Bully Ray
Yeah.
to confront me.
That's what I'm
So
saying. Like, dude, there's plenty of guys I'll pick fights with and start shit with, but I'm not gonna walk up and just intentionally piss off.
Not a fan of Bully
Yeah.
Ray, and I don't like what he does. And listen, I'm not the only one in that camp, but I'm also not gonna try to fight Bully Ray.
Yeah.
Nah.
Here's one just announced. Cage Promotions, who's done a lot of stuff locally here, is bringing in Tatanka.
Oh,
May Valentine from NWA. She was just in the cover of Playboy. She's going to be there.
There you
okay,
go.
okay.
One last announcement. We'll get you out of here. This Saturday, the 19th. If you have not been a subscriber of IWTV and you always hear us talking about Camp Leapfrog and all the crazy and cool things they've done, I know I'm very proud of the stuff that was done there. We were a hand in some of it. Brian as well. Philly Mike was there.
Yes.
The entire Camp Leapfrog library will be coming to YouTube on the 19th, absolutely free. The whole backlog. So a lot of hard work and then it's not only going to be the full matches, but we're actually going to pull the matches that were off those shows and put them individually too. So if you want to go and just check out certain matches, you can do that. We're going to make it very easy for you in a whole playlist when it comes to the show. And there's a lot of great stuff on there. Just to throw some out there. Masha versus Edith in the Soviet death match. Edith versus Effie in the Love Frog match.
Camp Love Frog is to this day my favorite Leapfrog show. Camp Love Frog is
I know
a
I'm
great
putting
show.
a lot of love out there for Edith, but Edith and Maxie and Paler on Creep Frog really good.
Speaking of Edith and Skyros for the title at Spring Breakdown in March.
I was doing that for a reason. But yes,
All
Edith
right,
will take
sorry.
on Skyros for the world title. I mean, no, you
My
didn't bury
bad.
the lead,
I
but I was
jumped the gun.
putting Edith over a lot because of the great matches, and now Edith taking on Skyros for the high tension title, which would be great. So yeah, tons of great Camp Leapfrog content. They're going to be doing a live Twitter watch along where you can tweet along while we're watching on Sunday for the very first Camp Leapfrog match. And if you want to talk about nostalgia, you want to talk about cool moments in Camp Leapfrog, Brian, do you know what the very first Camp Leapfrog match was?
The very first Camp Leapfrog match. Let me see if I can get this right. Was it Matt McCall?
Two people we love very dearly wrestled one-on-one in a match for the very first Leapfrog match.
I'm trying to think of who it could have been. I don't remember.
Two Chikara guys. That doesn't really narrow it down.
Yeah,
to
that narrows it
90%
down.
of. Yeah,
I know what the last match of Camp Leapfrog was because I called it. But no, I don't.
The very first match is Devontae's versus Deshaun Pratt.
That is the first match? Yeah,
it's the very first match of Camp, and the guy who called that match, Blake, is now hired by NXT. He's on NXT Level Up.
Yeah,
so the commentator for the very first couple Camp Leapfrog shows is now working for NXT.
And they got from that to me. So that is the through line of Camp Leapfrog.
Yeah.
The last match is me and Scott Holiday.
And I'm very honored to be the host of this show because, listen, when people host events for Camp Leapfrog and High Tension, it means something and it means a lot. So, like, Calix was a host one time. Killian had his own hosting job one time. So it is really cool that
Killian almost ruined the world with his hosting.
Yeah, I definitely won't try to ruin the world or try to kill the world.
No magic remotes this time.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I'm really pumped to be there, and we're gonna have a good time in Philly. But thank you guys
look,
so
it's
much.
1993 and it's in Philly, so I'm hoping Lenny Dykstra's there. I'm hoping John Crooks there. Hoping maybe Peelan Caviglia is going to be there.
Crooks a big wrestling fan. He talks about it all the time on broadcast.
Yeah,
excellent. He's going to be there. You heard it here first.
Yeah. So we will see you guys soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out. hold on, what's this? Are you sure y'all ain't from the Midwest? Full hitting on the Midwest. Full hitting on the Midwest. Yeah. A lot of Midwest guys fans in here, but yeah, definitely, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you guys next Thursday with the history of Jerry Jarrett. Maybe all four of us again. Who knows who could make it? I'd love to have you guys again and keep this going. But we'll end out with some closing music, which was former Tornado Tag music, but it's amazing, and we kept it because Billy Trey's amazing. And we'll see you guys next time on the Anthony Blackwell Jr. YouTube channel. See you guys soon.